hurt, no risk for the real. Still spine straight, I'm a soldier, no chill. Snakes in the grass, they creep and conceal. 20/30 vision, better sharpen your steel. We won't stop, I won't quit. Stand for the truth, no counterfeit. Real ones rise, let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies, let the darkness live. Echoes in the swamp, whispers in the wind. Legacy to build, can't let the devil win. Cash rules the weak, but my soul don't bend. 20/30 knocking, better cleanse that sin. They want us to sleep, but the light stays on. Fake smiles, fake friends, all of them gone. Cages of comfort, we breaking out strong. Roots in the south, but the fight's lifelong. We won't stop, I won't quit. Stand for the truth, no counterfeit. Real ones rise, let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies, let the darkness live. Prepare for the storm, skies turning gray. The wolves in the suit got dues to pay. From the ashes we climb, no time to delay. The real ones prepare for the judgment day. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the Morning, man. I am your host, Wise, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. Hope all is well with you, man. I hope you guys are blessed on this fine Thursday morning. Happy Friday Eve to you all. Today is somewhat Friday for me. We talked about this yesterday. This will be the last live show of the week. We're taking an extended weekend for wifey's birthday, which is tomorrow. So I'm definitely looking forward to that and looking forward to hanging out with her and some friends as well. I'm definitely looking forward to that, man. Yesterday was my youngest son's birthday, and shout out to all of you guys for, showing a birthday love to my family. It's awesome. It's awesome to even have family, right? That is a blessing, in itself to have family. We have a pretty small family, but, to have one, I have two kids. And they're not even, I guess they'll always be your kids, right? They'll always be that. But they're adults at this point, 19 and 24. 19 and 24. So they're not my little guys anymore that I used to take to the park or, spend watching these guys play soccer and baseball and football and all these sports and stuff. They're grown men now. Grown men doing their own thing, don't want to have too much to do with dad unless they actually need something, and then that's a completely different situation, right? But my oldest, I gotta say, man, he's been out my pockets for quite some time. The youngest one, though, we still working on him. He's a work in progress, right? He's 19, so he's a work in progress, and I think we are past those times when you can just kick your kids out and say, "Hey, man, go fend for yourself." In this climate, stuff is just so daggone expensive, man. It's so expensive. You can't possibly even think about doing something along those lines, right? You'd literally be setting your kids up for failure. So he's still at the house, but he is doing some positive things. He's working, he's going to school, so he's got some things going on. But he's doing all right. He's doing all right. So thank you guys for the well wishes. Tomorrow is wifey's birthday, so I'm not going to tell y'all how old she is. She might not like that. She may not like that, but she is younger than me by a little bit, not much. She is younger than me, though. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have a good time tomorrow. Shout out to all my folks in the chat. Shout out to my Blues. I know I seen B up in here. I believe I saw Zephyr K9 as well up here as well. So shout out to all the Blues. I'm sure Brett Montgomery will pull up here in a little bit as well. You know, and I think I did mention Zephyr K9. So shout out to you guys. First person in the chat, shout out to you, brother. Kevin Caldwell at 5:30 in the morning. Lord have mercy. Shout out to you, Kevin Caldwell, first person in the chat this morning. Good morning to you, brother. Shout out to Miss Lori Addison. Shout out to you, sister. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Says, good morning, Wise and ARP family. Thank you very much. What's going on, Eric Smith? We're going to work on Eric Smith, man. We got to get him out of D.C. For those of you guys that don't know, D.C., I mean, I'm surprised he's still there. I would have thought that maybe you would at least have moved to Montgomery County by now. At least maybe up in the Rockville area or Bethesda, somewhere up in that general vicinity. I can't suggest that you move to Virginia. Virginia is just too daggone expensive. The taxes are crazy out there. So I would suggest, you know, if you're going to move and want to stay in an area, at least go to Maryland, opposed to DC. We're gonna work on getting him up out of DC. I don't know how he does it. I really don't. I don't understand how he lives in that city, man. I don't even like to go down there and visit. It's not even that far away. What's up, Soul Driver? How you doing this morning? ARP, he says, good morning, Wise and ARP family. Happy Friday Eve. Yes, it is. That it is. The weeks are flying by, man. The weeks are flying by. It really is. You know, it's crazy how fast these things go. I feel like it was just Monday yesterday. And here we are sitting at Thursday going into the weekend. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. All right, who else we got up in here? We got a good show today. We got a few people. I know we got Miss Linda B already in the building down there in the green room. I'm going to pull her up here in a little bit. We got a few others that are going to pull up today as well. We're going to get blessed by Minister Danzel. I'm definitely looking forward to, you know, having Minister Danzel on. It's been a little bit since he's been on the channel and blessed us, you know, with his wise, sage words of wisdom. Minister Danzel, man, is a wealth of knowledge, man. It's a blessing to be able to have him, you know, on the show and have him be a part of this. He's been with me doing these things for wow, going back to I guess February of 24, I believe. So he's been, you know, really you know, lockstep with me for a long time at this point, and it's a blessing to be able to have him pull up and you know, offer some wise words of wisdom. He always does, straight out the Bible. I mean, this guy here, man, is almost like, you know, he's almost a walking Bible to an extent. I mean, this man knows the word of God, and it's definitely a blessing to have him be a part of the show when he does get an opportunity to pull up. We also got the brother Jason out of Dear Woke Christians. He's pulling up today as well. And I'm looking forward to having him up. We got a few others. I believe we got my guy, Chris Highland. He's going to pull up today. Who else we got? We got my guy, Jeff from It's Not Your Fault. We're going to have him pull up today. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I know you guys seen the thumbnail. You've seen the title. We got to talk about it because, you know, young Karmelo, his family, they've upped their goal from $500,000 to $1.4 million. Let's just round it up and just call it what it is. They're asking for $1.4 million. So we got to talk about that. We're not going to stay on it too long, but we definitely got to converse and have a conversation about that particular situation there. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on up in New York because Minister Danzel, I don't know if you guys know, but he's up in the New York area. So I want to make sure, I want to get his take on Mondani and the direction of the Democrat Party as far as going socialist. And there's a few other clips that we're going to showcase and discuss. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on one particular topic. Today, I really want to just kind of run through and talk about a multitude of topics and some of the things that we've already discussed on the show myself. But, you know, bringing guests in, I definitely like to, you know, get their take and get their thoughts on some of the things that are going on, you know, out here around the country. And, you know, there's a spoof that was out there as well. I don't know if it's real or a skit, but I want to share that with you guys and the panel. And I just want to get your thoughts on it as well. So we're going to share that. So there's a few things that we're going to get into today. We got 139 people in the building early. And I want to make sure you guys hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button. Shout out to Redefine Queen. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Toy Mafia. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. as well. Who else we got up in here? Stephen P. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Sonia Moore. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Sonia Moore says she can't hear the broadcast of the show. That was at 9:08. We hadn't started yet. So hopefully you can hear me. If you can't hear me right now, please put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, if we are having technical difficulties, let me know. Put a 2 in the chat. If you cannot hear me for whatever reason, I want to make sure that we have all technical difficulties ironed out and taken care of before we get things kicked off. Who else we got up in here? Insanity's Darling. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. She says, good, hot, and sultry morning, ARP family. It's really hot here. Please hit that like button for our man Wise. Be blessed today, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And make sure y'all hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Who else we got up in here this morning? All right, we got Delinda House in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up. Munchkin 1 in the building. Shout out to you. Amber Young. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. All right, we got Marla 5656. Appreciate you pulling up. White AD man, what's going on with you, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. All right, we got Billy W in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hey, B, if you can look this up for me, Billy Jack he says he got blocked, but I can see him in the comment section. I don't know if you have the ability to kind of go and look at who's been, who's been blocked. I'm not sure if he was blocked, and I don't know Billy Jack's name. I think it is just Billy Jack in his YouTube, on his what do you call it? On his YouTube profile. I'm not sure if it's called Billy Jack or if it is Billy Jack, but please do some research on that, man. He said he got blocked in some shape, way, form, or fashion. And when I went on my end and look it up, I couldn't find him in someone that was blocked. So please do some research for me on that, if you could. What's up, Dion? How you doing this morning, sister? Appreciate you pulling up. Missouri in the house. Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up, Chester? How you doing this morning? Massachusetts in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Brian Gable? How's it going this morning, brother? Appreciate you pulling up as well. What's up, Kristen Knight? What's up, Malachi? How's it going, brother? Malachi is a youngin', man. He's in his 20s, man. Shout out to Malachi, man, supporting the channel and been rocking with us for a little bit. Says he's in the truck in South Carolina, headed back home to Illinois, man. Y'all make sure y'all put some traveling grace on young Malachi out there in the truck. Y'all make sure you put some prayers out there for him, man. Some traveling grace to make sure he gets back home safely. Shout out to the youngin', man. I like it. I like when I see young people, that want to be involved, get an understanding of what's going on, out there in the world. Lord knows when I was his age, 22, 23 years old, I was not concerned with what was going on politically, unless it required us to go on deployment. I was busy in the clubs and doing some things that I probably shouldn't be doing. I wish I had a mindset similar to what this young brother did, because Lord knows, man, my mind was definitely not what was going on from a political standpoint. I was in the club chasing girls and partying and all that kind of stuff, in my 20s. If you guys know anything about young sailors in the military, especially back in the day, I can't speak to these young folks today, but back in the day, oh my goodness, all my if you were a young soldier, sailor, young Marine, y'all know what I'm talking about. Hey, the first is pulling up. Like, here it is. We're about to pull up on the first. The first is next week. You're going to ball for about 3 days, and then you're going to be broke for 10. Hey, that first weekend when you get that paycheck, the 1st and 15th, that first weekend, we're going to ball Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We are going to ball out. And then we back to the natural ice after that for the rest of the daggone time until we get paid again. What's up, Jose Ramirez? How's it going this morning, brother? Appreciate you pulling up. Hope all is well. What's up, Annie Love? What's up, Hunter? How you doing this morning, brother? Hope all is well. Hope you're doing well. Hunter with the Bible verse, man. We're going to kick him off here. He says, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 25-26, have no fear of sudden disaster or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked. in chapter 20, okay, verse 26. For the Lord will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared. Thank you very much, Hunter. I appreciate that, man. He always blesses us with a nice verse. And y'all know Proverbs, that's hands down like my favorite book in the Bible. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of folks out there, they like different books. I like Proverbs just because of the practical application. I am a huge supporter and proponent, you know, of Proverbs. I asked my grandma back in the day, why did you not turn me on to Proverbs when I was a youngin'? Forced me to read it. Y'all forced me to do a whole lot of things. Forced me to read it just so I get a better understanding, man. I mean, there's so many jewels, you know, all throughout that book, man. I mean, it's just, in my opinion, hands down, one of the better books in the Bible. And there's a lot of good ones, but I think Proverbs is up there. It's definitely one of my favorites. What's up, Rusty? How's it going this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. What up, LaClara E. Whitlock? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Are you kin to Jason Whitlock, LaClara? What's going on? Abraxas 2121. Appreciate you pulling up as well this morning. Hope all is well. We got Pinecone 13. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. Appreciate you. What up, C. Bergie? How you doing this morning? Who else we got up in here? We got Anita Pantoja. Give me a second. Let me check my phone real quick to see. Oh, snaps. I thought I did. Hold up. Give me a second, guys. I got to send the link out. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Waiting on a couple people. On a few people. Let's see. All right. So while I'm at it, let me go on and get Linda in here. What's going on, Linda? How you doing this morning, sister?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Y'all make sure y'all go check out Miss Linda, man. Chat with me, Linda B. What else you got? You got the Linda B show. Linda, yes. Linda's doing it big. Linda doing it big. She big time.
I just
Linda B big time.
I just started the Linda B show, but yeah, check me out and chat with me, Linda B.
Y'all go check her out. What's up, Crystal? How you doing this morning, sister?
Good morning, Wise. Good morning, Linda B.
Hey there. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Outstanding. All right. We're going to see, as soon as I see Jason pop his face back out, I'll pull him up. Let me get my guy Chris up. What up, Chris? How you doing, brother?
How's everybody doing today?
Outstanding. Good. Outstanding. Blessed.
Hey, Chris.
Blessed as always.
Linda B, how are you?
Doing good. How you been doing? I know you've been busy, and we all have.
Chris grinding as always. Chris grinding as always. You know, he definitely grinding. He got a couple little youngins that he's still chasing behind. So that's right. he got his work cut out for him. I'm sure they keep you busy. Yeah, I'm sure they keep you busy.
Young or make you old. I'm not sure which.
Well, you got three. So you have three. Two are in school. One's not in school, or all three in school now?
They're all through. Well, no one's in school right now.
Well, I know. No, I mean, well, it's summertime, so it's summer break right now. But
yeah,
all three are in school. Wow, school age. Woo. Hey, God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you.
I tell people all the time, like having kids is a young man's. That's a young man's game. You know what I'm saying? Sure, the children, young man's game. My kids are, and you're a little older than me. You're a little more seasoned than I am. I don't want to say older. You're a little more seasoned than I am. My kids are adults. So, and it's a blessing. Yeah. You're still chasing.
Same here. And I love it.
What's up, brother Jason? How you doing this morning, brother?
Hey, man. Grace and peace. How are y'all doing today?
Good, Jason.
Outstanding. Outstanding, man. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Y'all make sure y'all go check out my guy Jason over there, Dear Woke Christian. Y'all make sure y'all go check out Chris as well at the Chris Highland Show. Y'all make sure y'all go check him out. Check both of these guys out. Go subscribe to the channel. Go do it now.
Go do it right now. I love it. I love the call to action. I love it. I love the action.
Hey, we got to give instructions. So go do it now. Go. Dear Woke Christian, Chris Highland Show. Go subscribe to the channel.
Make it so.
What's going on, man? We got my other guy. You know, my brother from another mother. What up, Jeff? How you doing this morning, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Good.
Hi,
Good.
how are you?
Good morning.
Appreciate you all pulling up, man. Y'all make sure y'all go check out Jeff's channel as well. It's Not Your Fault. It's a Al-Anon recovery channel, man. He's doing phenomenal work. He's honestly doing the Lord's work over there, man. Helping people who are in need of help. Go check him out, man. He's doing some great work over there, man.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all make sure y'all do that. So we got a lot to get into today. I mean, obviously we got to talk about Karmelo. We're not going to stay on it nowhere near as long as we did yesterday. But I want to bring up, and I don't want to start there. That's not where I want to start. But we are going to talk about that. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it, but they raised the Give, Go, Send Me request from 500,000 up to, let's just round it up and let's just call it what it is. It's 1.4 million. They actually gave us one of those numbers that you would see at like Walmart. You know, it's like 1.375, or I think they want $1,375,926. It's one of those like where'd y'all come up with this number? Like they're like just
very specific. It's like, you might as well say 4 million.
very, very, very specific. I don't know how they came up with that number, man. I don't know how they came up with that number, but that's what happened. I'm being somewhat facetious. I'm not for sure. I know it's 1.3 million. I'm not exactly sure the rest of the numbers, but I'm almost for sure I'm close. I'm almost for sure that I'm close.
Like 1,096,000.
That's the exact price. That's the exact price of a 2026 Lamborghini.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
I think they priced out a new house in Stonebriar with options.
Now, Chris, you are in the just to let everybody know for some context. Chris is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You're in the area. How far are you from where this incident took place? Because it's Frisco, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah, 25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not but 12 miles away from me.
Got it. Well, and yeah, 12 miles, 25 minutes. The traffic out there is ridiculous, but I guess traffic nowadays is pretty crazy everywhere. We're going to get things kicked off, man. In the chat, man, y'all make sure y'all keep things peaceful. But I do ask, hit that like button. And before we go, there is somebody that joined the ARP family this morning. Shout out to Popper Strange. Thank you very much for joining the ARP family, man. Appreciate you supporting the channel. And there's also a few other people I want to make sure I show some love to before we get things started. And I forget, because Lord knows, I always forget my folks that support the channel via Cash App and also via Buy Me a Coffee. So shout out to Judy Newman joining the ARP family as a super ARP supporter via Buy Me a Coffee with the $5 support. I definitely appreciate you joining and join the channel and supporting the channel in that manner. Thank you very much. And shout out to Jennifer Jensen as well for joining the ARP family or becoming a super ARP supporter via Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you very much for that as well. And there's one more. I want to make sure I don't miss it. Oh, man, I hate when that happens. Oh, and also, let me show some love to Reza Mahmood. Appreciate you, brother, for supporting the channel via Cash App. And I think this one is it. Yep. And also, shout out to Cynthia, who supported the channel yesterday with the $50 donation via Buy Me a Coffee. She says, happy birthday to the wonderful family. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you guys supporting the channel, man. It means a lot. I'm humbled by it, to be honest with you, but I definitely appreciate it. And I want to make sure I show you guys some love as well. And also shout out to Eric Plummer as well, supporting the channel via Cash App. Thank you very much. Both him and Reza Mahmood. Thank you very much. Also, shout out to the brother Jason, man. Thank you very much supporting the channel, man.
Thanks for having me.
Y'all make sure y'all show Jason some love. If you received one of the ARP family memberships, man, y'all make sure y'all show him some love. And the number one way you can show him some love is by subscribing to his channel. Go over there and subscribe to this brother channel. Go check him out, man. He's doing some great work over there. All right.
Appreciate it, man.
So let's get things started. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me. We have 215 people up in here, so y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me if you have not done so already. The other thing, if you have a question for any of these guys in the chat, a super chat will give you the opportunity to answer that question. So super chats will stop the show. Super thanks will stop the show. Anybody that joins the ARP family or gifts an ARP family membership, that will stop the show. They will be acknowledged as well. let's get things started. So hit that like button for me. Blues, make sure that we are where we need to be at. We should have, at this point, at minimum 200 likes right now. Shout out to LaClara E. Whitlock supporting the channel financially. Thank you very much for gifting ARP family members. Y'all make sure y'all show LaClara E. Whitlock some love in the chat if you received one of these memberships. Thank you very much, LaClara E. Whitlock. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, man. God bless you. All right, so we're going to get things started here. And I was sitting here thinking, trying to think, okay, where do I want to start first? And I think it makes sense for us to start here because I wanted to start with New York, but Minister Danzel, for whatever reason, has not joined yet. And let me see if I got a message from him real quick before we get started. All right, nope, still hadn't received a message from him yet. All righty, so we were going to start with New York. But we're going to start here with the shakedown. And I want to get your thoughts, Jason, on this. I don't know if you've covered it on your channel yet. I don't know if you've covered it, but I want to get your thoughts on the shakedown of shakedowns. I haven't seen anything like this in a while. But this was something else. I hadn't seen anything like this. So I want to pull this up for you guys. We're going to take some time and shout out to my guy, Sean Crenshaw, over at goodness gracious. What's the name of this brother's channel? And I want to make sure I properly show him some love. Give me a second.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Biblical Conservative. All right, shout out to my guy, Sean Crenshaw, over at the Biblical Conservative. Now I'm going to have to pull this back up. Give me 1 second here. While I'm doing that. Have you talked about that particular situation yet? Jason, the shakedown.
I think he's frozen.
He's frozen, yeah.
I think he's frozen, yeah.
Oh yeah, he did freeze up on us. All right, hopefully he'll pull back up. He'll be ready to go. Okay. All right, what happened to him? I know he's like just stuck there.
No, he was frozen.
Oh man, I do not like when that happens.
Yeah.
While I'm doing that, while we got it, y'all guys bear with us, man. Bear with us here. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check out anything from Sean Crenshaw, but Sean Crenshaw, man, he's doing great work, man. He's doing great work.
Watch him. Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me a second. Minister Denzel, I think he's on the wrong. He's got to be. Use this. Let me send this over to you. All right. Technical difficulties, folks. Sorry about that.
I'd like to give the Toast Law Firm a cookie for not sending us the appraisal. Well, no, I didn't.
All right, so I'm sending. Let's give a little bit of grace here for Jason and let him pull back up. I'm guessing he's having some internet issues, and I also sent the link back over to Minister Danzel as well. So hopefully we'll get him up in here in a second as well. In the meantime, while we're waiting, I want to give you guys an opportunity. If you guys want to just kind of go around, we'll start with you. We'll start with you, Linda. If you want to let people know about your channel,
Okay.
what you got going on the channel, and then we'll kind of go around that and give some folks some opportunities to pull up.
Okay, thank you for that, Wise. So my name is Linda B. I'm on Chat With Me, Linda B, right here on YouTube. And I also have a show called The Linda B Show. So Chat With Me, Linda B is politics from a biblical perspective, because I consider myself a Christian and I have a biblical worldview on everything. And so I talk about a lot of politics and religion on that channel. And then the Linda B Show is more cultural. So I'm talking about anything that's trending right now in the culture. And I typically have a panel of guests with me on the Linda B Show. So the Linda B Show is right here on YouTube as well. And I live in Georgia. I'm a Georgia girl, Georgia peach, born and raised. Married, several children, all grown. The youngest one is 21. So happy about that. But yeah, I enjoy doing what I do, and I like informing people about what's really going on. And I also really like make acknowledgments that I center everything around God, but also I warn people about the media. The media has controlled our thinking. We've been programmed to some extent, I believe all of us, to believe a false narrative. And I was just shook when I found out all the lies that we've been told as a country. But that's enough about me. Next person.
Hey everyone, I am Crystal Beyond Labels. I have Crystal Beyond Labels and No Woman, No Lies. I talk about everything, current events and pop culture from God's lens, because I am a Christian and that is what I love to talk about, helping people to get the veil off their eyes. So we speak everything truth and nothing trendy over there. You can find me on YouTube under Crystal Beyond Labels. You could also find me on TikTok, where I have a very nice TikTok community for Crystal Beyond Labels as well. And we have Crystal Beyond Borders and Crystal Beyond Blessed over there as well. I am a New York girl that made her way down to Atlanta, Georgia. So I am now a Georgia girl over here. And I'm side eyeing New York right now because they're not representing right now with that behavior. So thank you all. And y'all can find me again on Crystal Beyond Labels.
Thank you, Crystal. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Chris Highland. You can find me on YouTube. We are back at Courageous Media after a long battle with YouTube. So I have two channels, Courageous Media, where we do political commentary, and the Chris Highland Show, where we're going to repurpose that. It's going to be our apologetics channel, where we're going to start just delving into God's word and how do we basically defend the faith, as the Bible said. Always be ready to give a defense for the hope that lies within you. So you can find me there. Again, political commentary and biblical commentary, and just look for to interact with you there. And it's great to be here, Wise.
Thank you, Chris. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, hey, I'm Jeff Soretta, and I started the real Chris Highland Show back years ago, and been doing that for quite. No, my channel is called "It's Not Your Fault." If you have lived with or do live with an alcoholic or an addict, we all know how difficult that can be. Trying to get them to quit using, and we realize that we end up getting pulled down the abyss with them if we don't watch ourselves. So my channel is to help people based on Al-Anon Recovery 12 steps on how to prevent yourself from being pulled down with them into their addiction, just to try and help you not to be a codependent or a habitual enabler. So I started the channel about a year ago. I've been a Al-Anon recovery coach for a little over 10 years, and it's been very inspirational, very helpful. My channel, of course, like I said, is It's Not Your Fault, Al-Anon Recovery. Please like and subscribe, and I do appreciate the time to be here. You guys are all wonderful, and I'm glad you made the time for me.
Thank you, Jeff, for pulling up, man. Jason, we lost you for a second, man. You were frozen in time for a second, brother.
Man, technology is going to keep you humble, no matter what. Technology is going to keep you humble. You get up, it's going to keep you. The Lord uses it to sanctify us. My name is Jason from Dear Woke Christian, and I do social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective. We talk about everything from politics to pop culture and things going on in the middle of society, and look at it from a lens of what does God's word actually say, or how should a Christian respond to these things. Wise, I'm always happy and glad to be on here. Looks like we got a great team today, so I'm looking forward to a good conversation. So thanks for having me.
Outstanding. Thank you for pulling up, man. Thank you for pulling up.
For sure.
Hey, B, in the chat, if you could you drop the links to all of these good folks, their channels and things of that nature in the chat. I know Jeff, and I want to make sure that, we highlight Jeff, because what he's doing and what he's doing over there, he's doing the Lord's work, man. There are some people that need to hear the information that he has. So let's make sure that we drop those links in the chat for me.
Thank you.
If we could.
Thank you.
We definitely want to do that. And last but not least, my brother, Minister Danzel, appreciate you pulling up this morning, brother.
I appreciate being here, man. The devil's fighting hard, ain't he? So for some reason, he don't want me joining my family here. but it's good to be with you guys. And man, good to see all your faces. Linda, good to see you again. Haven't talked to you in a while. Crystal, you good to see you, brother. I mean, Chris, all y'all the family.
Nice to see you. Hi.
And I'm blessed to be here. As you can see, I'm rocking that blessing that you gave me, the Blue Yeti. Hope you can hear me good.
I can hear you very well. Thank you. Right. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad. Hey, you doing good things over there, man. I want to help you. I want to see you continue to get out there, because I mean, what you have, people need to see it. They need to hear it. And honestly, it's a blessing to have you on the show. Every time you pull up, man. Every time. So I appreciate you. Thank you, Justin Maddox, for joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you supporting the channel, man. And thank you for joining the ARP family, man. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you guys very much. Make sure you all hit that like button. Now we're going to get things started. Let's get the show started, man. So we're going to start here with, we're going to stay where we were, and then we'll kind of move back to New York, and we'll kind of go, a couple of different places. Somebody came on behind me. Who is that? Got us on in the background. All right. We're going to start here. Shout out to my guy, Sean Crenshaw, over at the Biblical Conservative. Sorry about that. Y'all make sure y'all go check him out, man. He does some great work over there, man. But we're going to start here. We're going to let this thing play out for a little bit. I got a couple clips to share within this video right here. And then I want to start with you, Minister Danzel, and then Jason. I want to get your thoughts on this. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, but yeah, this is interesting, to say the least.
So it is not just a withholding of dollars, but a pushing forward of prayer. A lot in America is shifting, and the church is going to have to be more active and vocal.
So let me talk here about 4 of the demands that you all have for Target. I think we can put them up on the screen. Honor the $2 billion pledge to Black business community, which they made in 2021, to spend that through the end of this year.
Let me pause and say to you, the reason why that's significant, they made that pledge after the killing of George Floyd. Target is headquartered in Minneapolis, where George Floyd was killed, and it wasn't connected to DEI. It was supposed to be honored December of 2025. And so when the president made this move to dismantle DEI, they hid that obligation under it and are not honoring it.
I'm going to come back to number 2. 3, completely restore the franchise commitment to DEI.
Yes.
4, pipeline community centers at 10 HBCUs to teach retail business at every level. And they made some commitments to HBCUs, even being honored by some Black business organizations because of their commitments to DEI. But number 2, explain this one. Deposit $250 million against any of 23 Black banks. Why is that on the list?
I think it's so significant because our Black businesses are really fighting to get access to capital. And a lot of our Black banks are unable to do so. If Target is receiving $12 million a day from Black people, then I think that some small modicum of that should be reinvested directly back into our community.
So as I've said before.
Okay, so before, and I got to skip to the next, to this next little clip within here. So give me a second here. But I got a question to ask you guys while I'm doing this. I got a question. Now, New Birth, we know that they probably take in close to maybe $100,000 a week, maybe more. That'd be my assumption. That'd be my assumption. Do you think that New Birth is banking with a Black bank? I'm just gonna put that out there. We'll talk about it. But do y'all think that New Birth itself is banking with a Black bank? They got all these demands for everybody else. Are they doing the things that they say they want Target to do? But I want you guys to hear this. We're gonna let this clip play for a little bit, and then I want to hear from you guys. I mean, to me, this whole thing, it sounds like a freaking shakedown. This whole situation, it sounds like a shakedown. But let's keep going.
Taking anybody out who is trying to block progress. I don't care if you got the same skin as me. I don't care if you were in the same fraternity. I don't care. If you are not about the business of changing communities, then we've got a fundamental problem. See, right now,
I got a problem with dudes like this. You know how I talk about that Black triumvirate, how I talk about the church plant pastors, the Black civic leaders, the Prince Hall Freemasons, the Black Greek letter organizations, the politicians, the media, the athletes, the entertainers, all those folks who conspire to keep Black people in a permanent state of victimhood. He's one of the activist class. He's part of the Black Bougie elite. This dude has been working with the Democratic Party for decades now. And yet there has not been any change in the community because the socialists, the communists, and the Marxists, they don't want change in the community. They have to keep you in a permanent state of victimhood to keep their grift going, to keep the grift of pretending to want to fight for the community, but all they're doing is lacing their pockets. Progress. This is not progress. This is regression. Their progress, their form of progress is begging the federal government, making the federal government big, and making your responsibility small. Taking out your individual responsibility, making it very small, and making you dependent upon the government so the government can fit on you like a glove, so you cannot have any agency, you cannot operate within the intelligence that God has given you. That's what these kind of people push. And that's why these kind of people are dangerous, and that's why I call these kind of people out, because these are the ones that are keeping you, the community, in bondage. Not white evangelicals, not Donald Trump, these folks. This dude right here is a prime example of a Black bougie elite guy who has been working with the establishment, working with the federal government, working with the Democratic Party for 30 some odd years, probably more than that, and nothing has changed. Because they don't federal government, because Karl Marx was what they wanted to do. I recommend
say stand up. Church on. A matter of fact, if you are a preacher in the room and your church is a part of the National Baptist Convention USA, stand up. Just if okay, that one I won. All right. If you are a member of a church and your church is a part of the National Baptist Convention USA, stand up. All right. Y'all got some homework, because I need y'all to hit your national president and say, how in the hell can the National Baptist Convention USA have the audacity and the unmitigated gall to release a press release today announcing a partnership they are doing with Target while Black folks is in the middle of boycotting Target? I know for a fact they've received $300,000 from Target. And so what you have literally is the National Baptist Convention USA selling out Black America with Target. Oh, I can read the press release, because y'all got to understand, I ain't got no problem calling anybody out. I use names. I tag your on social media. I want you to see what I wrote. And it says it right here. The National Baptist Convention USA is committed to ensuring that corporations that do business in our communities give back to help rebuild and stabilize neighborhoods. The partnership with Target is based on our shared commitment to community empowerment through small business and entrepreneur development, investments in education and student support, and workforce and skill development that unlocks growth across our communities. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff, blah, 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 blah. Signed, Dr. Boyce Kimber, President, National Baptist Convention, USA. So let me go ahead and for about 5 minutes, go ahead and unpack this here, because let me just be real frank. Look, God already knows. Folk watch my show. It's called Roland Martin Unfiltered. And I got seasoned saints all around the country say, Roland, hey, I love your show, but can you not cuss? And I try not to cuss. I try. The reason I cuss, because it keeps blood pressure low, so I'm good. So that's why my blood pressure is 110/65, because I ain't stressing out over nothing. But let me be as frank as I possibly can.
Can we stop this fool?
This press release.
Yep.
I think we get the point. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we stop?
Right.
And I'm sorry, because, and I don't mean to take over your show. I'm gonna go to my own channel and really let this out, because Roland Martin, and I just want to get this out, and then y'all can just have at it. Roland Martin is 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses really the whole chapter, but 6 through 10 in 4K. If you can pull this up or allow me to share it, I just want to show you all and all of your watching audience, this is why you do not have to submit to anything that Roland Martin, Jamal Harrison Bryant, Al Sharpton, fill in the blanks, wants to promote. You don't have to. You can literally, by Paul's admonishment, you can literally say, go kick rocks. I just put on the screen, and I just want to read this real quick, and then I'm gonna get out of your way, because this has actually made me upset. I feel like my blood pressure is going up. But look at what it says here. And this is for you all. But godliness with contentment is great gain. Well, what do you mean, Jason? Well, let's go back to we'd have to go all the way back to the beginning. Teach and urge these things. If anyone teaches a different doctrine and does not agree with sound word of the Lord Jesus Christ and teaching that accords with godliness, he is puffed up with conceit and understands nothing. He has an unhealthy craving for controversies and for quarrels about words, which produce, what do they produce, Jason? They produce envy and dissension, slander, evil suspicions, and constant friction among people. What kind of people does this cause a problem with, Jason? Among people, hold on, people who are depraved in mind and depraved of the truth. And imagining that godliness is a means for gain. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and we shall take nothing out. But here it comes. But if you have food and clothing with these things, with these, we will be content. Here it comes. This is Roland Martin. Put in all of your race hustlers, all your white allies, put them all on this list. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evils. He said all kinds, like, and not just your run-of-the-mill run into a bank, but all kinds of evils. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the faith, pierced themselves with many pangs. You are not beholden to these charlatans. If you hear this type of foolishness, you can totally just ignore them and say, those people are off the rip. They are off the rails. Roland Martin, fill in the blanks, all of them are completely and totally missing the point.
Yep.
They're totally missing the point. So therefore, I'm not beholden to it. So when I make fun of Roland Martin and Jamal Bryant and Al Sharpton and fill in the blanks, I feel like I'm biblically inspired to do so. I don't have to. What you're saying is foolishness. It is akin to your child, a 1-year-old just babbling. That's what Roland Martin sounds like. He sounds like just a child babbling, and a child that's truly been puffed up, both physically and spiritually, puffed up, and just saying nothing. You're not beholden to these people. You can literally look at them and say, "Nah, I'm good." And continue to support your brothers and sisters and whoever like that. I can't wait for us to talk about Target stock. Because this morning, I got up this morning when I got your text message, and I started looking up Target stock. Jamal Bryant going to catch something tonight from me, because Target stock is not doing what he thinks it's doing, not definitely because of him, but I digress.
Thank you, Jason. I do appreciate that. And I'm glad you cut it off. I wanted to let it go because I want to see who's going to get frustrated enough. I've been frustrated for 40 minutes.
You had me through the roof. You had me through the roof over here, sir. Don't do that. Like, I was trying my best.
Ready to cut it off. But I was like, who is going to get frustrated? Because I'm like, this dude here is outrageous. And the crazy thing is, and shout out to Michelle here. She said he even lies about his blood pressure. Wow.
Exactly.
Hey, Minister Denzel, I know you want this, so go for it, brother.
Now you see how patient I've been, right? I've been patient. I didn't burp. I didn't say anything. Well, I mean, the Holy Ghost had me. I really did, and I do understand what my brother's talking about, because man, it's easy to go up. Now, brother, I say brother kindly. Brother Roland, he said that, talked about his blood pressure. I was talking about my Holy Ghost pressure. I don't cuss because I respect my Holy Ghost pressure. But listen to this. 1 Timothy chapter 3, Titus chapter 1, both talks about the qualifications of a leader. I left Titus because Titus says that they are not greedy for money. They're not greedy for money. And my brother just made it clear. When we have as Christians have got to stop playing Christianity. and we've got to start dealing with people as the Bible say we ought to deal with them. In the book of Timothy, chapter 5, Timothy said, when a Negro who claims to be a Christian does something foul, we're supposed to rebuke him before everybody. Now, let me ask you all a question. How often do you see that happening among Christians? Everybody's trying to have each other's back, and they think that that's love. But this is crazy. This is dangerous stuff that's going on right now.
Mhm.
What's happening in our Christian ministry? Jamal and brother and Roland, they just few examples of a lot of stuff that's going on, and it's widespread. There is big money in this kind of thing. One of my former mentors, Johnny James, just called them soul hustlers and ecclesiastical pimps. And their goal is to use Jesus in the Bible. And I think there's a special place in hell for these people, by the way. But we as Christians, I think that we have got to stop playing this foolish love, this unbiblical love game, and think that we can't call these wolves out for what they are. And if we did our job efficiently, they wouldn't be as popular as they are, I don't think. That's just my assessment.
I agree.
We have to start bringing the receipts when we talk about these Negroes.
And
I agree.
I agree. And I just want to say that we need to learn our, people just sit in church. We need to study the word ourselves and show ourselves.
Oh, yes.
We can be able to tell when something is not right because we have studied, we've done our due diligence. They do it all the time. They mix up some truth and wrap it in their narrative that they're trying to push. And I'm sorry, Jamal Bryant is a sultan of Satan. He is a minister of darkness and a pulpit pimp. I mean, he literally said that Jesus was out of order 85% of the time. That was I just put him, like you said, there has to be a special place in hell for these kinds of people, lest they repent sincerely from their heart, because they want to keep us grieved at the government, angry at white people, not taking accountability what we personally do and decisions that we make in our own lives. They just doing this to me because I'm black. The white man this and the white man that. But who is taking the lives of black men at an astronomical rate?
Right.
It's not the white man. It's very small in comparison if we think about it. But we don't ever want to get mad and pick up a picket sign and march unless there's a white person involved. And we got black men in the streets like literally every single day. Look at places like Chicago and Memphis, and then they want to come to church and do this black liberation theology with Jamal Bryant, and he's up there part of this pimping grift thing. He wanted more money. He mad because he was holding out for a bigger bag.
That's right.
What the problem is, $300,000, and they divided it up between the four different, NBC USA, National Baptist Convention, America USA, and Missionary Baptist Church in Kojic. So they each got $75,000. He was like, I could have just wrote you a check for $75,000. He is in it for the money. He acts like he cares about black person, but the only black life that he cares about is the one he sees when he looks in the mirror.
And
I want to add this because I sat down and watched as he was plotting this, because one day while I was having lunch with my people, he was sitting right behind me plotting all of this. And I was listening, and it was very entertaining. And it was not people that look like us. As he said, it was for us. It's for the black community. It was not people that look like us. Let me just point out that.
Amen.
Now, the thing that's
wait. I'm sorry, Crystal. Wait. So you're saying that you were in a restaurant. I just want to make sure we clarify this for the people that are watching. You're in a restaurant. You happen to be sitting near Pastor Jamal Bryant at a table with people that are not black folks discussing this grift here.
Yes.
Interesting.
Come on, Jesus.
Yes.
Interesting.
God put you there.
He put me there. I was like, wow. And the thing that's so interesting to me is when we look at all of this, he's fighting this whole thing. Do we realize how many black people actually work for Target? Like
a lot.
You're hurting because I've spoken to people that work in Target, and they're so upset because their hours are being cut because people aren't coming to the stores as much. People are losing out, and they're thinking they're doing something, but what they're trying to do, it has nothing to do with the black community as they claim. Mind you, he was sitting down having lunch in Buckhead. So let's just talk about that. That's where he was.
Let's talk about that.
When all this was going on, he was doing it in Buckhead. But all I say when I look at Jamal Bryant and look at Roland Martin, all I can see is the people that come up on my panels. They don't know the word of God, and they think everything has to do with blackness, Black identity. And I'm like, you don't understand. You are sitting in a church that is just full of fallacy, false doctrine, up and down, and they're not leading you to God. They're leading you far from God right now. They're leading you so far because now they have you idolizing your blackness, and they have you in this victim mentality, and you don't even realize it. But I'm telling you right now, getting a chance to see behind the scenes with Jamal Bryant, I can honestly believe that Roland Martin is sitting with those same type of people, and it's the mindset, and it's not a black versus white thing. It's the people that are secretly trying to take you down, and they make it seem like they're trying to support the black community, but they are not. They are not. They're trying to just take people. They're just trying to keep everyone in this mindset where they have to depend on the government, and they're not learning to go to the source, which is Jesus Christ. That's what it is.
I would definitely, I understand that, and I do agree with that. I also think it's one of those things where, they keep us divided, by this type of rhetoric, right? They keep us divided. Obviously, based off of what you just said, Crystal, it reminds me a lot of, Dr. Martin Luther King and those folks, during that time and those meetings, that they were having, with members of the Communist Party from other nations out there. These aren't organic movements. These are movements that have been co-opted by others who have a larger agenda. And that agenda is to keep us all separated. So we're not really focused on who the real enemy is. Before you go, Minister, I want to give Chris an opportunity to say something if you'd like to interject.
Well,
Please, yes.
It's amazing because it's all a grift. It's all about the money. I love the verse that you read there, because the portion of it that says they think that godliness is a means of gain, and in this case, it's godliness. It's let me do something on the outside. Let me peddle some element of God's word in order to make money, in order to get rich, and we see it. You see it in the black community, and the whole, Black Liberation Church, which is no church at all. But you also see it on the white community. You see you see pastors like that nitwit down in Houston,
Joel Osteen.
You can listen to 10 of his sermons, and if the man ever says Jesus or opens the Bible, I would be shocked, because every sermon I've ever watched of him, it has nothing to do with the Word of God.
Amen.
And then you've got Andy Stanley there in Atlanta, basically saying we need to decouple ourselves from the Old Testament so that we can make Jesus whoever we want him to be, and whatever fills seats, whatever allows me to fill seats and get donations from, in this case, they're pandering to the LGBT community, and that entire wing of progressive Christianity, because they want the money. They want people are in the Christian church are being entertained right into hell. And they put on a great show, but it is not Christianity. It is not the Word of God. And Roland Martin is a clown. Roland Martin is the ultimate grifter from exactly what Vince Everett Ellison talked about, the unholy trinity of the black politician, the black social worker, and the black quote unquote preacher, because they're not really preaching the Word of God. They are preaching, but it's not the Word of God.
Right.
And so they want people dependent not just on the government, but on them, because they're building a business. They're building some level of conduit that if you support me, I'll help you get something. But they never ever do. And it's evident in the way that Roland Martin absolutely opposed somebody who was doing real work in the community, King Randall, guy from the inner city, who basically built a mentorship program and out and got donations, and he helped kids succeed. And then he started building a school. And roly
Try to take him down.
and basically rips him for, how dare you tell black kids that they need to respect the police? What am I going to tell them? Yeah, show up with a knife to a gunfight and get shot over a traffic stop because you can't keep your mouth in order?
Amen.
As a white kid, I remember the first thing my dad taught me when I started driving. He said, if you ever get pulled over, because he realized I was a stupid teenager, right? He said, you put your hands on 10 and 2, you get your wallet out, you say, yes, sir, you say, no, sir, because they didn't pull you over for no reason, most likely. But, that's how you treat a police officer. And that went a long way. I can't say I've avoided a lot of tickets that way because I usually, but there's occasionally I can tell that, when I'm acting right, police officer walks up, he's like, all right, here's a warning. Go about your day.
Yep.
Because you treated them with respect. You put them at ease. They knew, they had an inkling when they started walking up, okay, I'm not going to die in the next, on this traffic stop. But people had to explain to me that, hey, that is a real thing. And so when Roly Poly, starts denigrating people who are doing actual work, because that actual work doesn't lead to money for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the entire spiritual element undergirding all this, because whether it's on, in white churches, in black churches, in multicolored churches, it is all designed to basically reduce the effect and the import of the word of God and the sovereignty of God and our awe before a holy God, and turn it into some level of entertainment, some level of, askew theology, whether it's progressive Christianity or black ideology, black liberation ideology, or any of these things. Ultimately, it boils down to idolatry. It's black idolatry. It's idolatry of self. It's idolatry of my identity. The devil will use anything. He doesn't care. He'll dress up as an angel of light. And once he gets you off kilter, you may only be a degree off, but after a couple miles, you're a long way off the target.
Amen.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, I want to get you in there. I want to ask a question to you. And then, Jason,
Sure.
I'd like you to answer this question as well.
It's not my
the
real
church,
hair.
to me.
No.
Well, we know that. We know that. We know you're part of the Hair Challenge Club. But my question to you guys, and Minister, you can answer this question as well. I'll give all three of you guys kind of right in a row an opportunity to answer this question. But what percentage of the church is really preaching the true living word of God in comparison to the percentage of churches out here? And this is the church. I'm not talking about black church, white church, because we see what's going on in both. It should just be the church, right? Let's just say that. It should just be the church.
Right.
There shouldn't be a thing. And the word doesn't speak towards a white church, black church, Asian church, Indian church. It doesn't. The word doesn't speak that. But for whatever reason, man, in its foolishness, we have decided to do this. And obviously that's not right. But what percentage of churches in America today, we'll just talk about America, are actually still teaching, preaching the true living word of God? Because to me, it seems like it's a very, very small amount, because I mean, it seems like a lot of churches, they have been co-opted by the Marxists, the communists. They have basically jumped in there and basically kind of taken over. And those are the people that we see in the forefront. I'll give you guys the opportunity, but what is that percentage? And my next follow-up question to that is, what can we do, as followers of Christ, to one, see it and remove ourselves from something that is negative, and get out of there and identify it quickly?
Thank you for allowing me to talk. I was not going to be the first white guy to say anything, so especially without this topic. But being melanin challenged that I am. Full disclosure, I'm Catholic. I've been raised Catholic my entire life, and I am not exposed to other churches. Very few times have I been to other churches and seen how other churches run things. I mean, we do a reading from the Old Testament, New Testament, a homily, the consecration, communion, and we go about our day. It's nothing. There's not a big beat down of let's get some money out here. I mean, these race hustlers I've watched many times over the years. And I just wondered to myself, how long is this going to go on, where people just kind of just go through the entire life of being this victim mentality to where they blame other people for their non-success in life? That's, my father taught me a long time ago, that if you're unsuccessful in life, it's your fault, no one else's. I've watched other people in my life who have gone through that. Wise, you're the exception. Have gone through life of saying, you know, I'm broke, I'm unsuccessful, I'm destitute because of others or because of other things. You'll get nowhere in life doing that. But as far as the percentage of people I see, if this is what's going on in other churches, it breaks my heart. And I said on your panel a while ago, I gave you a super chat. I said, Satan has now co-opted the pulpit. He has, and he's just somehow taken over. When people go up there, just because a person's on an altar does not make him a man of God. Let's just be blunt about that. Just because you somehow make it up to the pulpit does not make you a man of God. And be very cautious of what this person is talking about. These race hustlers have gone through their entire life of just trying to make a living. I remember Jesse Jackson when I was a kid making a living off of telling other people that they'll never get anywhere unless you give me money, vote for me, and then I'll make it right for you. And where's that gotten you over the last 60 years? And it happens over and over and over, and it just never stops. But this gentleman here, obviously I don't listen to Roland Martin, but the guy before him talking about the Target thing, there's nothing different between that and locking the doors of the church and saying, unless y'all give me $20, you guys can't leave. It's the same thing. It is a shakedown, and it's got to stop, because God is being supplanted with money, and you can't supplant God with money. That's never going to happen. And I'm blessed because I'm getting to see things from different perspectives. You two gentlemen, the two black pastors, God bless you guys. You guys are wonderful. And to Linda's point, more people need to find, not just go to church, listen, shake hands, and be entertained. I don't go to church to be entertained. Okay. If you're not listening to hearing the word of God when you go to church, find a different church, because you're not, that's not prophecy. That's not apostolizing. All that is trying to be entertained. So you hand over a check. Okay. That's all that is. And that's how I see it.
I do agree with you, Jeff. I think it's easier said than done when people say find another church, because it is a struggle. And I'll ask this question to Jason. What is the percentage of churches out there? And we'll just say the church, black, white, because I've seen on X, you got white churches out there with rainbow flags. And even in my area, I've rolled by where they've said, we're all welcome, inclusive, with the rainbow up there, just letting it be known, hey, you can come here and practice whatever you practice out there in the streets. You can do it right here as long as you're willing to pay us. Right. We're good. Right. So you're seeing this. This isn't a black thing. I think it's real easy to look at it and say the black church. I just think the church, because we got a chance to see what's her name, Bishop Buddy. I think that's how you pronounce her name, from the Methodist Church. And she went out there and was talking about trans kids and all this other kind of stuff. What is going on? So it really makes me think, what's the percentage, of churches that are, and preachers out there that are really, really preaching the true living word of God?
Well, I don't know.
Go ahead, Jason. No, before you go, Chris, I want Jason to answer that for me.
Okay. I'm going to come up with a controversial take.
Go for it.
100% of the church is preaching God's word.
I love it.
It's not controversial at all.
The problem is 100% of the places that y'all look at and are talking about are not churches. That's the problem. The problem is Christ's church is fine. Jesus's church is perfectly fine. His church is not, because we are in his hands. So nothing's wrong with Christ's church. His bride is being perfected. The problem is you all, and we've given the name, we've allowed people to name themselves and self-identify as a church. You're not a church. You're just a strip club with clothes on. You're just a social club. We've allowed them to do that. But the truth of the matter is the capital C church is perfectly fine.
That's right.
Ain't got no problems. The Lord is preserving his own. Is perfectly fine. The problem is most of the places we're talking about, and I'll use stillbirth as an example with Jamal Phony Bryant, that is not a church. There's no way in the world you can convince me. I live here in Atlanta. And I think Jamal is attacking my internet. That's why my internet kept going out. So I live here in Atlanta. You can come get me, dearwokesee@gmail.com. I will go to stillbirth with you.
I'm not going there.
And I want you to explain to me. And now this is the thing, though. This is a catch-22. Then we're going to go to Smyrna Press. And I want you to tell me straight face that what we saw at stillbirth is a church. I'll stand 10 toes down. What we do at Smyrna Press is a church because Christ is preserving it. But I want you to explain to me, how do you make the assessment that this is a church besides them saying that they are? Because we live in a world now where you can see observable reality and say something different. I see this, but you're telling me it's something different, so I'm just go along with it. No. You're saying this is a church. What is your justification for calling that a church? I'll wait. So to answer your question wise, because I do want you to bring up this picture I put on the screen, because I think this will, I think this is very appropriate. But take a second, y'all can process that while I finish it. 100% of Christ's church is preaching God's word. Is this not what you have on the screen right here? Is this not appropriate that Booker T. Washington was dealing with this exact same thing back in 1865 or 1890 or whenever he made this statement, that there is another class of colored people who make business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public, having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles. They have grown into a settled habit of what? Advertising their wrongs. Partly because they want sympathy, and partly because, come on with me, boys and girls, say it loud and clear, it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose their grievances.
Sure, that's
because they do not want to lose their jobs.
Precisely.
I love watching.
Hey, thank you for pulling it up. And I was going to mention that, but thank you for having that on deck, ready to go, because I've read Up From Slavery, and I've also read The Negro in Business, and I own The Negro in Business, written by Booker T. Washington. I've said it on this channel a multitude of times. I am well versed with him and in lockstep and in line with Booker T. Washington's thinking, which is, a thought process that he had well over at this point now. What is that? Maybe 140 years ago. And here we are today. People are still doing exactly what he said was happening way back when. It's still happening. This race hustle business, man, it is a billion-dollar industry. People need to understand that, man. And he says it. They don't want to see the grievances go away, because if it does, it's going to mess their money up. For lack of better words, just to paraphrase that.
Here's a modern example. Let's just go ahead and call it for what it is. If Karmelo Anthony had killed a little black kid, how much money would have been raised off of that?
None.
It's like I said, they do it.
We're going slow. We're going to
yeah.
Minister Denzel, get in there. I'll give you the last word on this. I want to move on to the next subject.
No money in it.
Yeah. I want to get to your question again, because I thank God for all that was said so far. I mean, y'all killing it, man. But there is some scripture in the Bible. I agree with my brother that said that the church has no problem. It's not the problem with the church. But listen to this. It's very, very, very important. Matthew chapter 16, verse 18. Jesus told Peter that the very gates of hell will not prevail against the church. He's going to build it on a rock, and nobody can devastate it. So that's, like you said, the church is not the problem. But Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, Jesus said that there's two roads, the straight gate and the narrow gate. And that straight gate, few going to be on that gate, and there are going to be many that's going to go in the other direction. So the percentage is very clear. God already told us it's going to be a whole lot of folk that ain't going to make it, because they're following the grifters and the soul hustlers and the ecclesiastical pimps, and they're not following the word of God. Linda was talking about that earlier. We have to know that book. And when you know that book, you can't be tricked as easy. So this is what's going on. You're going to always have this dichotomy. of this many that are lost and going crazy, and the few that's going to follow the truth. But that's why I'm telling us, as the truth bearers, we got to get bold, and we got to be outspoken. We got to be consistent. We got to be tight with our message, so that anytime these demons open their mouth, we can correct the truth, correct them with truth in front of other people. I always talk about Galatians chapter 2. Paul didn't do this behind closed doors. When Peter screwed up in public, Paul got him in public. He got him before all his homies, and Peter didn't spout back because he knew he was wrong. Later, Peter said that Paul had great wisdom. So all I'm saying here is that, Brother Wise, first of all, I thank you again for this program. Thank you for addressing these issues. We have got to stop playing footsie with our brothers and sisters who claim to love Jesus, but believe every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes along with a profound statement or message, or claim to want to give them money, or claim to want to help them. We have to stick to the book. If we stick to the book, I'm telling y'all, man, if you stick to the book, you have it. You'll have no problem dealing with these ecclesiastical pimps and soul hustlers.
Yes. Can I just add one thing real quick? I just wanted to say two things. Number one, we are the church. Okay. Right. So when we get together, it's a gathering, but we are the church. So I want people to realize that. And the other thing is, don't play with Jamal Bryant with that fast, because we fast to get closer, to fast and pray so we can hear clearly from the Lord. That's what we're, it's not fasting target. Don't stop watering down what fasting is truly supposed to be used for. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, to be clear, they've been watering down what a church is for better than however long. So why do you expect them to? He's been watering down what a sermon is, been watering down what a pastor is. Jamal, I mean, fasting is not the worst thing that Jamal has misrepresented. Okay, so
you're right.
You're
right. Hey, Chris, I know you had something that you wanted to add. I want to give you that. I'll give you the last little tidbit here to add, and then I want to move on to the next subject.
Well, you asked the question, how many are actual churches? And I just looked at how many are actually Christians. And, depending on the survey you look at, only 10% of Christians actually read their Bible every day, actually delve into the word. And the whole definition of a church is to be and make disciples of Christ. That's the Great Commission. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And Paul, as he addressed it in Galatians, as he called Peter out, Jesus called the churches out in Revelation, and he called that entire other subset the synagogue of Satan, which is exactly what it is. They promote another gospel. Paul said, if anybody, even an angel of light, shows up and preaches any other gospel, let them be accursed. Let them be anathema. Because there is only one Jesus who saves. You cannot create smorgasbord Jesus Amen. And expect him to do anything for you.
Outstanding, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We got a couple super chats I want to read real fast. Shout out to Mark Galvin with the $2 super chat, says, thanks all for keeping it real, 100. And shout out to Jeff with the $11 super chat, says, man, that guy is amazing. I'm going to subscribe to his channel. What a great panel and discussion.
Amen. Amen.
Toot your own horn much, huh? Toot your own horn much, huh?
Hold on.
I like that.
So I want to man, that was powerful. That was powerful, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe this. This is right here. This right here is phenomenal. I love this right here. I want to move on to the next subject here. And we want to talk about New York City because we do have a couple New Yorkers, and I know Minister Denzel wasn't able to join yesterday, but I want to get his thoughts. I want to hear what Chris has to say about this as well. I don't know if any of you guys have any other feelings about what's going on up in New York. The fact that the Democratic Party, they had their Democratic primary the other day. Not yesterday, 2 days ago at this point now. The days, they start to run together. But this Democratic socialist character that kind of came out of nowhere won the Democratic primary. And it was basically a beatdown of epic proportions when you start to look at it, in the grand scheme of things within the Democratic Party. And I want to share this with you guys. We're going to get into this. And then I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. I'm not going to let too much of it play, but we're going to let enough of it play. Give me a second here.
A stunning upset, and one that could change the political landscape throughout the entire country for years. Democrats are trying to figure out how to navigate Zohran Mamdani's unexpected victory in New York City's mayoral Democratic primary. Does the party need to move further to the left? How how do they capitalize on the enthusiasm he generated, even if they don't agree with his platform? The strategy for Republicans is pretty clear, though. Paint him as the standard and not an outlier of the party. The National Republican Congressional Committee posted a picture of Mamdani with 3 vulnerable New York Democrats, and they wrote this: every single Democrat now owns Mamdani's radical socialist agenda. Now, it's worth noting that none of these 3 Democrats actually endorsed Mamdani. In fact, Congresswoman Laura Gillen was not happy with the primary results. She wrote that he's too extreme and the absolute wrong choice. Joining us is former New York Congressman Jamal Bowman, who was with Mamdani last night. Jamal, it's a big moment for New York, but is it something that is actually able to be extrapolated beyond the city, which is in a pretty unique moment? He's an immigrant who's in a city facing anti-immigrant, policies from the federal government. There's an affordability crisis. There's a lot going on here.
Yes, he's the perfect person to respond in this moment to not just the crisis in the city as it relates to immigration affordability, but the fact that the Democratic Party is on life support right now with an approval rating of about 20-something%. So as we talk about bringing excitement back to politics and democracy, his campaign inspired New Yorkers across the city. Turnout was much higher this election than in 2021. Young people, first-time primary voters, made up 25% of the turnout, and he crushed a political dynasty in Andrew Cuomo. And so we should lean into that excitement, and we should do everything we can to learn from what he and this campaign did, which was exceptional, and see how it can be replicated in other parts of the country. Now, let me say this: New York is a special place. Incredible diversity of people, ideas, working class, etc. But when we talk about economic populism, he ran on affordability. Everyone's trying to afford to live. And so it's absolutely something that we should try to benefit from as a party and as a country.
Yeah.
So that's enough of him. Minister Denzel, I mean, we know who Jamal, we know about Bowman, right? We know all about that character. He is a piece of work. But as a New Yorker, up there, I guess my first question, I would assume that you're not a registered Democrat. That's just an assumption right there. So I would assume that you did not play a role in Mamdani getting an opportunity here. But what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on a large swath of people up there in New York City choosing Mamdani, who is a outright, in your face, blatant socialist? Brother, this dude's not trying to hide it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that people in New York are not educated voters. They are trained to follow whoever their leaders or whoever they believe in, and they just follow they follow people by personality or for emotional reasons and whatever promises they're making. They don't care about what their character is, what their background is. They don't care about what socialism is, because they'll believe whatever they're told socialism is. Socialism, they won't. The real socialism they'll never see, they'll never understand, because they don't frequent places that will teach them the truth about what socialism is. So they're just emotional, non-critical thinking people. And from what I understand, it's from what statistics shows that the mostly white people voted them in. They say that the blacks didn't vote them in. But they say that a lot of young people voted him, and I don't remember anybody saying what the ethnic ratio of those young people were. So it's very difficult to. I'm not high on statistics as it is, because they're so skewed. But my point is that my concern is that we don't have enough people in New York. Probably not a lot of our nation. We did have it because Trump got in. You look at how Trump got in, and somebody had to be doing their job to inform people about truth, to keep these riffraffers from stealing the election a second time. But that didn't happen in New York, because New York is a power base for these leftist socialists. So young people, because they're not critical thinkers, they'll go with the flow, and that's dangerous. It really is dangerous. I'm in Queens a lot of times. I listen to people where they talk. You can tell they don't have a clue about how to think critically about their politics. Some don't even realize how important politics is. I was just looking at one of our brochures where a lot of the Democrats that are running for the office out here, they're all shysters. But we don't have the ability to think critically. And I think that we don't have programs in the church, because most of the churches are giving over to this mess. We don't have enough people who know the truth putting together programs to train the people in their community about what truth is. Now, the problem is this, and I'm going to conclude on this. Because we have lost our respect in our communities, and they have got the respect of the liars, when we speak truth to them, we look like monsters with 2 heads. And they don't want to hear what we have to say. So we have to build credibility by challenging these people. How about challenging these people to public conversations? and sticking it to them. This is how it was done in days of old. You know, Christians debated atheists, Christians debated false cultists, and we nailed them in public arenas so well that the people didn't have to follow them. We don't have that going on today. All about these charismatic speakers are these nutcases out there. So my question is, when are we going to get together in our communities and form our own strong base and get out there in the media, not just being quiet behind closed doors, get out there in the media and challenge these people to public conversations? That's where the power is going to be at, and that's how we're going to destroy these people's philosophy.
Can I jump in?
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
No, I'm sorry, Crystal. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, this man got his from the research I was doing. This man got his citizenship in 2018. So again, why do we keep picking people who do not like America? Because somehow or the other, we keep putting people in charge who have no love for America, don't understand America, don't care to understand America. They want to make America exactly wherever they remove themselves from when they came over here. This, from what from his previous, because I'm looking at some of the previous posts that he had, he wants to abolish NYPD. He wants to abolish prisons. He wants to ban 2A. He wants to end cash bail. He wants the government owned grocery stores.
That's right.
He wants to end all cooperation with ICE. He wants to end prisons and legalize I don't know if I could say this over here. Prostitution. He wants to legalize that in New York.
304. He wants to. He wants to
legalize
it. 304 behavior. 304 behavior.
Yeah, so he wants to do all that over there. And what I'm looking at, because one of my best friends, for those that don't know, I grew up in New York, spent most of my life there before I moved south, and my best friend still lives in Queens, and she is a teacher. And every time I would speak to her, she's like, they're going on a holiday, and I'm like, what holiday is this? Why are you always on a holiday? And she was like, there's a lot of Muslim holidays. I said, since when did New York adopt so many Muslim holidays? Well, just for some of the numbers, 58% from the numbers they showed, 58% of Asians voted for this man, along with 35% of white people voted for this man. And when they showed people that made over 50,000, and those that made over 100,000 were the ones that voted for this man. People that made under 50,000 did not vote for this man. What I'm looking at is that there are people that, what is that saying, Wise? Rules for me, rules for thee and not for me.
Rules for thee, not for me. Yeah.
Yes. I feel like this man is going to come in and these people that voted him, these rules will not affect them. It's going to really affect the people that think he's helping them, and he's not there to help them. Some of the things that he's promising, he's not going to be able to do. He has nothing to do with it. So he's making wild promises, and he can't do it. I agree with Minister Denzel. They don't understand politics. They don't understand any of these things. They just see somebody saying, I promise to do A, B, C, or D. And the person can meet it or not, as long as they have the cool ads. This man was a rapper like 2 minutes ago. He was a failed rapper. He was a failed film director. But they were like, yeah, let's vote for him. I feel like you have two sets of people. It was a lot of older people, and it was a lot of younger people. And I feel, especially with the younger generation, they have made it in school, so kids don't understand
TikTok,
what they're doing. They don't understand their civics. They don't understand these things. They don't. So I think, Wise, you showed it, or someone else showed it, that the number one thing that was Google yesterday, Google Trends, was, what is socialism? They didn't even know what that was.
People don't even know what it is.
I told you.
Yeah.
You voted for something and you don't know what it is.
You don't even know what it is. It's crazy. And before you go, Jason, and I want to hear from Jason. I want to hear from Chris as well, because I know he's pretty well versed in this as well. I want to hear from both of you guys, but I want to share this clip. This is Mondani at the Breakfast Club the other day. I want you guys to hear what he had to say, and then I want to, Jason, you go first, and then Chris, you can go right after him and follow him once Jason raps. But I want you guys to hear this right here. Check this out.
I've proposed is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city, because we know he'll use federal funding as leverage over this city. And we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%. They're at 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there. They can pay it over here. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporations headquartered in New York City. Because when you say this, people will say, well, they're going to go to Florida. Mm-hmm. Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit. And the second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more, taxing them just by a flat 2% tax increase. And I know if 50 Cent is listening, he's not going to be happy about this. Mm-hmm. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error. And all of these things together, they make every New Yorker's life better, including those who are actually getting taxed.
Now, you also want to cut.
Okay. And before you go, I want to read this out just so you guys can see it.
I've proposed is that we raise
hold up.
$10 billion.
Let me stop that for a second. Sorry about that. So he is proposing a second tax on the top 1%. They want to do 2%. And no matter where you are in the country, even if you're not headquartered in New York City, he wants to raise your corporate tax to 11.5%. How many companies are going to just continue to do business in New York? If that is the case, how many of these companies are just going to say, you know what, we're not going to do anything in New York now. Right. We're not doing anything there, so we're just pulling out. Pulling all the way out. Jason, you go and you can go with this. I just threw that question out there. I just like, man, this is crazy. But Jason, you go, then Chris, you go after.
I think we've done ourselves a disservice because I know we're trying to really be concise when we say something like socialist or fascist or whatnot like that. Sadly, I don't think the word itself turns people off. And I think what your audience should do is look at some of the elements that make up the socialist agenda. For example, government-run grocery stores, and just ask questions. You do not, I say this all the time, you do not need to know all the answers. All you need to do is be able to ask really good questions.
That's right.
So if I was talking to Chris, if I was talking to Crystal, I say, hey, explain to me why the government should own Kroger. Can you show me somewhere where this has worked, where the government owned the grocery store and has thrived and prospered? I like to see that in real time. Can you show me that? And I think those kind of things, those kinds of questions, show me where they've actually completely abolished the police.
Critical
because
thinking.
You say defund the police, but that doesn't say that you don't need the police. Why are you saying not abolish police? Why are you saying defund them? So you want these men and women to be out here ill-prepared or ill-equipped to deal with people who are not defunded. You're not defunding the thugs. You're not defunding the ne'er-do-wells, but you're defunding the police. So how does that actually work? What will that look like? And people need to start asking really good questions. You do not need to know all the answers.
Critical thinking.
Just ask great questions. And you might not know if this is a great question. I'll help you out with that as well. Take the concept that they're proposing, doing away with the second with the 2A. Okay, can you explain to me how that will look? What would that look like? So you're looking at buybacks and home raids and all that kind of stuff like that. Got you. So who would actually have guns? So who would actually still own weapons?
Criminals.
Right. Say it with me, boys and girls. Criminals. That's right. Because the only people that are going to follow that law are going to be law-abiding citizens.
That's right.
Because I'm not a criminal.
That's right.
So therefore, the only people that are going to have these things are going to be criminals.
Critical
so
thinking.
let me make sure I have that right. How does that work? And ask questions, because Denzel was correct. A lot of these people have not been challenged in their ideas and their thoughts. This is very much akin to your child having this crazy idea, or you. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pick on your kids. I'll pick on you. When you were a kid, you had some really crazy ideas, and you're like, man, I could do this. And you jumped off the roof. You rode the bike with you drove down the road with the lights off. You did something really dumb, and you really hadn't thought about it. But if somebody had challenged you and said, hey, you do realize that there's this thing called gravity, and you do realize that your bones can only take so much pressure before they break, you probably wouldn't have done that, right? If somebody had been there to help you out and help you think through that. This is what we are doing. We're helping somebody standing on the pinnacle of their garage about to jump off and helping them to think through what's going to be the ramifications if they don't land properly or whatever it is. Because these are people that have not thought about what they're talking about. It just sounds good. It sounds cool. That's it.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, you're absolutely right. And to answer one of the questions, I think, Crystal, you said, how is it that we keep electing these people who are brand new immigrants who clearly hate the America that we love? I think part of it goes back to, well, we have allowed the teachers union and the government funded schools to basically become indoctrination centers for I hate America.
That's right.
And for whatever your pet reason is, because it's different based on whether you're in the South or in the North. I mean, it goes back to the 1619 Project. It goes back to a lot of this. The founders were corrupt. The founders were nothing more than slave owners. Yeah, lots of people were slave owners back then. It does not reduce the moral degradation that slavery was, but it was an accepted practice back then. But that does not make the founders, it does not make what they founded, holy or completely evil. America is a fantastic place with all of its flaws. Right. So one of the reasons is because that we keep electing these people is because we have a government indoctrination school system that teaches people to hate America. But the other thing that I think this represents, and I think it represents two very big problems. One,
and media.
Yeah, and the media. I think this represents two very big potential problems. One is the death of the Democrat Party as we know it. What it looks like to me is that the Democrats, in that ever since Trump's election, they have been leaderless, rudderless. Now they're penniless. When you watch reports of the DNC begging for money, their donors have abandoned them. And frankly, their biggest donor has been ripped away. And that was taxpayer laundered money from USAID and other
USAID.
Right. Yeah. Tens of billions of dollars that was taken from taxpayers, laundered through NGOs, through daisy-chained NGOs, back into government coffers or back into Democrat coffers in the form of campaign contributions, tax, everything. So they've lost their giant source of funding. So that's one problem. I think it represents the death of the Democrat Party as we know it, which I think would be a good thing, except that it has now been ceded to the ultra left. It has been ceded to straight up in your face communists. That's what Zoran Mandami is. He is an unabashed Islamist communist.
That's right.
He is. I mean, he literally did campaign stops and commercials in Arabic. And I'm not, and he might have done them in Indian as well. But I mean, I distinctly heard Arabic in a couple of them. He's literally talking a foreign language while doing campaign stops. It's utterly ridiculous. And I think the other thing that what it looks like, and Greg Foreman, was talking about this, and I think he's absolutely right. They may have found a winning formula for winning Democrat primaries. Now, whether this will let them win the general election, I don't know. But it's Trump derangement and free stuff.
That's right.
When you boil down his message, he ran on Trump derangement and free stuff.
That's right.
Proof our city. No way these criminal illegals are going anywhere. We want them here. Oh, and I'll give you free grocery stores and
free bus,
free MTAs and free buses and free this and free that, none of which we can afford, by the way. And when he implements his economic policy, it is going to become like Seattle, even worse, like San Francisco, even worse, because the real estate, when you implement price controls for rent, two things happen. Either you lose supply because people just get out of it altogether, they turn them into condos, they sell them, or the quality goes down. You end up with slums because nobody reinvests. So you will end up with a giant city of slums. And when he implements all of his tax policy, what's going to happen? The corporations and the rich are going to flee. They're going to walk away. And then when you lose that tax base, this was on CNN. They had a Democrat, I think it was a union boss, who was ripping Abby a new one because he literally said, this is what's going to happen. The corporations are going to leave. The rich people are going to leave. We're going to lose that tax base. Then our corporate bonds are going to collapse because we won't have the economic undergirdment to allow us to even borrow money. This whole thing is going to
critical thinking.
Financial tidal wave.
Wow. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Before you go, Jeff, I want to share this clip with you guys, just to kind of add some little more context. I want to add this, and I want to hear your thoughts on this particular individual's thoughts here. Let's check this out real fast.
It's a paradox. In America, we have a political left. It's a progressive left. As you know, it's sexually permissive. And this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam. Can you explain this?
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourself, go do that. And Omar, she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice. Yes, go do that. But would she have an abortion? Never. Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
It's a paradox.
Excellent. I wanted to share that with you guys.
Excellent.
Because I mean, these folks, they're a lot of us, unfortunately, don't know that these people, they're playing the long game, man. And they're preying on the weakest among us.
Wow.
You know, I think Crystal, you had mentioned it. You know, you have people out there that voted for something that they didn't even know. They didn't know what it was. The number one search was what is socialism? Like, this is crazy. This is crazy that you had people support a guy wholeheartedly and didn't know what they were supporting. You know what I'm saying? I think I find that just crazy, but it makes complete sense when you see the Ilhan Omars out there and some of these others that would like to fundamentally change what this country stands for and what it means. It makes sense that they do this. And you know, this character who got here in 2018 out of nowhere. No one knows him. We do know that he's a Nepo baby. We also understand that his parents, he comes from money. He's got a lot of money, and that's how he's able to kind of push his way into as an assemblyman. And that's how he got a lot of the money to run this current campaign that he's running. Jeff, I know you wanted to add something, but you can go with this wherever you'd like to go.
Okay, 3 points I wanted to make. You know, to Chris's point is, and also to the commenter on CNN's point, is this a referendum or a reflection of the Democratic Party? Think back to 2020 during the debates when Biden was the moderate and everyone on the stage was asked questions. Do you think we should defund the police? Everyone raised their hand. Do you think there should be open borders? Everyone raised their hand. Do you think there should be free healthcare and free this and free? And they all raised their hand. You know, Biden was reluctant because he had to, because he was the moderate. But that was 2020. Here's 5 years later. So is it yes, if you talk about the Democrat Party now, they run on, like Chris said, free, nothing is your fault, and you're being held back, and you know, if it's all the rich people are bad. Second point, there's a great book called Who Moved My Cheese. I think everyone should read it. It's an amazing referendum on people blaming other people for their problems. Third, my daughter, who is now 32, she was in high school back in 2014, something like that. And they did a social experiment. They had two candidates, A candidate and B candidate. This is 2013. And they were asked, candidate A was, I'm going to give you free healthcare, free college, free medical, free dental. I'm going to give you free rent. I'm going to give you money, free phone, free. And candidate B was, I'm going to teach you how to make a skill, learn a trade, work for yourself, build a house, do your checkbook. Blah, blah. Within 20 minutes, everyone in the classroom had gotten up from B candidate and walked over to A candidate, and that's who they were going to vote for in this fictitious election. That's what we're teaching our children is nothing is your fault. The reason why you don't have what other people have is because someone else is preventing you from having it. And if you just vote for this person or blame someone else, you'll have the world. And how is that going to survive? And like I said, this is why people like this joker win, is because he's a charlatan. He's a grifter. He's a race hustler. He's basically telling everybody, if you vote for me, there's all this money out there, right, Chris? There's all those billions of dollars out there. All we got to do is raise money on the wealthy people, and we'll get all these new things. We'll get Escalades. We'll get free this, free that. But it's these poor rich people are holding us back. That's all I got.
Well, somebody in the chat said that this guy Mandani, he came out of nowhere, and they said that, hey, the Antichrist will come the same exact way. He'll come. You'll be like, people will be wondering, like, where the heck did this guy came out of nowhere? And he's just grand. He's got all the money. He's got all the back end. He's got the shine. And he'll come out of nowhere, and people will follow him, not really understanding who and what they're following
from the Middle East. From the Middle East.
Yep, exactly that.
Yeah.
Well,
and Mars, I would.
When you, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris. No, go ahead, Chris.
Well, when you look at Seattle, right? So, as for somebody who used to live there, I mean, Seattle real estate is off the charts in terms of how expensive it is. What a lot of people don't know now is Lake Washington is the big lake that sits right in the middle of Seattle, surrounded by mountains. There's houses all around it that were uber high dollar homes. What people don't realize now is that Seattle has gotten so bad with crime because of their defund the police, because they have an openly communist city council member that has influenced the rest of the city council, where they now give you, free heroin, free needles to shoot up heroin. They basically, you can do drug deals right in front of cops in city center in Seattle. I've been there. I took my wife on our baby moon, and we literally watched a drug deal go down right in front of a cop. And he's like, yeah, nothing I can do, because they'll just let him go. I'm not allowed to arrest him. The whole Chaz situation. You've got Lake Washington waterfront homes that used to sell in minutes. I mean, when anybody got a whiff that one of them was going to be for sale, they were gone. Now they sit idle for months. People take them off the market because they don't want them to know that they're for sale, because the prices are crashing. The same thing is going to happen in New York if he gets his way. And what people don't realize is, because they don't do their research, he's openly advocated, I don't say the word idolized necessarily, but he has openly purported that one of his mentors, or one of the people that he looks up to, is this woman, Arya I don't know how to pronounce it, Rajendran, she's a young communist mayor of a city in India. Well, one of the things that she instituted, beyond all the regular communist principles, is she has what she calls red volunteers. Red volunteers who run around the city. They are not bound by the legal system. They're not part of the justice system, but they enforce community behavior. This is what this man is absolutely purporting. This is where it will get to. It's the slippery slope concept. Now, this could actually be a good thing, because you're going to end up with, in New York, now you're going to now have Eric Adams is running as an independent. You're going to have this guy who just landslided the Democrat Party as the Democrat. You've got Sliwa as the Republican, which I wish we had somebody who was showing up in the vein of a Giuliani, but we don't. This could very much throw this thing to Eric Adams. So New York may still dodge this bullet. This guy's not guaranteed to be the mayor, because you've still got, and they're even saying that Cuomo might run now as some sort of
as an independent as well.
Yeah, they did say that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
But if he gets elected, if he becomes the mayor of New York, you also may have a situation. I mean, God can use anything for good, right? I look back at Trump. If Trump had been elected in 2020, we would have continued with economic prosperity. There'd been a lot of good things. But at the same time, would we have known just how deep the deep state went?
Nope.
We have known just how bad the corruption and the rot and the metastasizing anti-Americanism was in our own government. We never would have known, and neither would Trump. This may well be God saying, all right, here's one last chance to show you what this ideology will get you. Let's make New York the case study, shall we? Let's go 4 years of Zoran Mondami, and let's see what that does for you.
The South is
the concern for me, and before you guys go, the concern for me, because I think some folks, and I do agree with you, Chris. I think that Eric Adams, this is going to kind of line things up to give him a real opportunity. He is the current mayor. He is the incumbent. I think this gives him the opportunity to win. As an independent, he's come on. I covered this yesterday in a video I put out last night. He did come out and basically said he kind of feeling pretty good about himself, because he's looking at this like, hey, it's almost a slam dunk that I am going to win. But the reason why I personally wanted to cover this is really not about Mamdani. It's about the thinking of a large amount of people, not just in New York City, but also across the country, who believe that his type of ideology could be successful in America, because it's not just New Yorkers. There are a lot of people out there. I know some people that live in other places that believe in the things that Mondani is saying. So I think it does need to be put out there to let me know, like, hey, is there 30% of the population? Is there 40% of the population that believe that socialism can work in America? And if it is, we need to know who they are, and we need to stomp it out immediately before they are allowed to fester and grow and actually become into something very powerful in this country. It needs to be highlighted.
Excellent, Wives. Now, this is why I'm saying that we better, first of all, I don't think Adams got it in the bag right now, because if he doesn't know how to respond properly, critically thinking, expose this Negro agenda, and really deal with what he is saying, what he said that got him in, if he is not able to effectively articulate why what he state that his opponent is saying is wrong, he can easily lose this race. Because, like you said, if people are not thinking critically, they're going to go for him in spite of who he's running against. If Adam does not counter that message with a better one and really break down the craziness of the message that's being ministered. Now, here's my question, though. Think about it. Why are they the only two options we have? Where are the intelligent Christians, the literally intelligent Christian, Bible-believing Christians that are in politics, who have the message, who have the truth? Why are they not there? This is the thing that bothers me about that. Tells me more about the condition of our nation and our world than anything else. When you don't have any decent people running for office, and I think that we need to focus on that, because even if we get an Adam in there, we can't vouch on what he's going to do, what's right. Because remember, he's a Democrat, and he woke up a little bit when he got spanked by the Democrats. Yeah. But there's no guarantee that if he gets that power back, and that he's going to go back into business as usual. We don't know that. We need people who are principled, who are biblically sound, principled, who will not bow the knee to these riffraff and these little slogans. So all I'm saying is that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm praying for.
Hey, Chris.
I was just going to say real quick, Zoran Mamdani is under the same sect as the Ayatollah in Iran. I don't know if people realize that. He is under that same sect, that same belief system. And I think people are not paying attention. I think people don't pay attention. People like to stay in their little bubbles. Yeah. Now, if you take a second and look and say, well, how did the UK get to become like the UK? It was someone like Mamdani that got into office, and then it changed the whole trajectory of the UK, as well as over there in Ireland. What I would say, Minister Denzel, I have this conversation all the time on TikTok with one of my brothers, Deep. He always asks this question about being a Christian Democrat and things of that nature. And a lot of times the Christians will jump up and say, we are not supposed to be involved in politics. God doesn't want us in politics. God doesn't want us in that space. And I always say to them, if the Lord says we are the light of the world, the salt of the earth, are we not supposed to be infecting every area? Are we not supposed to be involved? Are we not supposed to be doing what we're supposed to be? Because we're supposed to submit to the law of the land. If we're supposed to be submitting to the law of the land, should we not be involved in politics so we can help make laws for the land? Are people missing that? The thing is, while Christians sit back and say they're not going to get involved, people like Mamdani and their belief system, they're like, oh no, we're going to get involved because we're going to change the laws of the land to make it look like the way we want to, because we want to convert all of these people. And if they don't convert, well, they have other issues that they have to deal with. So Christians need to stop with the being so heavily minded that they're no earthly good. You still live here. You still live here. So get yourselves up and stop saying we're not voting. We're not going to join in politics. We're going to stay in our little buildings and say, well, as long as we stay here, we're good. That's not how it works. You're supposed to be out there, again, making disciples of all nations. And somehow or the other, the people like Mom Donnie and the people that are in Paterson, New Jersey, who took over Paterson, New Jersey, the people that took over UK, Ireland, and all those other places, they seem to know that. They want to build Epic City in Texas. They seem to know that, but somehow the other Christians don't realize that
Minneapolis.
We need to focus on that.
Minneapolis.
Yeah. Well, Minneapolis as well. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's a couple of wars going on in our country right now. Obviously, there is a spiritual war, and we've been talking about that on this channel for quite some time. But there is an ideological war happening right now in this country, and a lot of people don't even understand that it is actually happening. And they don't know, they're ignorant to what's actually going on in our country right now. And hey, ignorance, they say it's bliss, but it could also find yourself, you could also, being ignorant, you could find yourself in a world of trouble by choosing not to know that we're in this battle right now. I appreciate what you're saying, Crystal, because you're absolutely right there. I mean, we got a chance to see some examples going on over in England. It's happening, over in Ireland as well. You see what they've done in Minneapolis. You see what they've done in Paterson, New Jersey. You see what they want to do just north of Dallas, Texas, with this Epic Center thing that they're trying to push. I believe if I'm not mistaken, I think they're in the process of trying to secure about 300 acres or something like that out there for this Epic City. Like, this thing is happening. It's real. Unfortunately, we have entirely too many Americans that either one, don't know that it's happening, or two, they don't care that it's happening. And both are problems, in my opinion. Before we go, I got a couple super chats I want to read. Jeff, I'll give you an opportunity to speak, and then we're going to move on to the next subject here. Shout out to my guy Jason with Dear Woke Christian with the $10 super chat. Says that bearded guy from ATL, Jason, such a great beard and clear voice. Let me run over there and sub real quick.
I love it.
Thank you very much, brother. Shout out to Amethyst Angel with the $5 super chat. Says go back to classical education where critical thinking skills were taught. No Google, Chat GPT, real books, phonics. Let's get back to turning pages. Shout out to Jason on that one too. Hey, let's get back to turning some pages. Fill in some of the some of those pages. I like that. Shout out to and thank you, Amethyst Angel, for the another super chat, $2 super chat. She says the smoothing of our brains is their goal. Oh, you're absolutely right there. And you're absolutely right there. And Amethyst Angel again with the $2 super chat says, Wise, I'm loving your panel format. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Shout out to Wesley Turner with the $5 super chat says, New York City is about to elevate a socialist to control the financial hub of the country. Folks better escape from New York like Snake Pillskin. I like that. Shout out to Anatis Too Real with the $5 super chat says, Thank y'all for having this conversation. Shout out to Freedman Networks with the $2 super chat says, folks sound afraid. I definitely disagree with that. I don't think I've heard any fear on the panel, but I do think that people need to be aware as to what is going on. And if bringing awareness is fear, I mean, hey, that's your business. Jeff, go ahead and
two things. Chris, I know you'll agree with me on this one. Who would have been the Democrat candidate for president if not for shenanigans in the last 3 elections?
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. Okay, he was the most popular. And now, who's the most popular candidate right now going into 2028? As far as it's early, but right now AOC is the most popular person. And again, all they promise is free stuff. That's all they. That the only.
Critical thinking.
Rich people are bad. Rich people are bad, and we'll give you free stuff. And that's who's going to end up. That's who's leading the Democrats. That's a fact.
Wise, I put in the chat. There's several documentaries you guys can look at that really cleans the clock of this topic about how a lot of anti-American people are in our politics in our nation.
Yes.
One's called The Agenda, America, Grinding America Down. There's a second documentary on that called Agenda. Part 2 is called Masters of the Seat. And the third one is Enemy Within by Trevor Loudon. I put them in the chat. I put the links in the chat. You can click on them. If you can't get it, you let me know and I can send them to you. But they expose all the different corruption that's in our politics.
And I just want to say something real quick before we go to the next. Quick.
Go for it, Linda.
That's why they really can't stand from the bottom of their soul. They can't stand Donald Trump because he really gets in the way of their agenda. Every moment they get in the media. They
talk about it.
Orange man bad. He's bad, and you know he must be pretty decent. I mean, he's not.
Got to be doing something right.
He's got to be doing something right because they really can't find anything that he actually did. Is actually manufactured and orchestrated. It's like Steele dossier made up. Oh, let me go over here. Oh, made up stuff. I don't want to bring up the Capitol, but you know that at the Capitol there was some business, funny business with that. They can't really find anything, so they make it up, and they cannot stand him. And you got to know at this very moment they're thinking what they can do. How they can get rid of him or something. They're trying to do something right now as we speak because there is a war, a spiritual war. There is this pull to try to drag us down away from God and to turn us all communists. Turn this into a communist country because I know that the last administration gave the Chinese like hundreds and hundreds of acres of farmland, gave all that farmland.
Absolutely crazy.
Places.
Did Trump take it back? Did Trump take it back yet?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
They're working on it. They're actually working on it.
Hey, before y'all go, I know Chris got to get out of here. Chris, appreciate you pulling up, brother. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and pulling up this morning. Y'all make sure y'all go over to Chris Highland Show, Courageous Media. Yeah. I'm gonna follow up with you. I'm gonna follow up with you a little later today, man. I want to hear about this Courageous Media thing because you were cooking, and then I know there were some shenanigans that happened. But I'm glad to hear that things are back up and running, man. So y'all make sure y'all go over to Courageous Media, check Chris out, man. He does great work over there, man, and the Chris Highland Show as well. Appreciate you pulling up, man.
Appreciate you, Wise. Have a great day.
Me too.
All right, man. Take care, brother.
Be good, man.
All right. So I want to move on to the next subject. We got a couple of things, and we're going to do some kind of quick hitters, and then we're going to get out of here because I know we're already at the 2-hour mark. It seems like people are really loving this panel, and they're loving this conversation. But this is and this has been great, man. You guys have blessed me, a lot. You guys have blessed me a lot. I got a couple super chats I want to read, and then we'll keep moving to the next couple subjects that I have. Shout out to Ananice Too Real with the $5 super chats. Thank y'all for having this conversation. Thank you very much. Freeman Network. I already read that one. Hold up. This one right here, 2020 Vision with the $2 super chat says New York City is going to be the first dystopian city. I hope that's not the case, but it could be going in that direction. Shout out to Freeman's Network with the $5 super chat says that's why no foreigner should be allowed in our politics, no matter where they're from, including diaspora. I agree with that. You get no argument from me on that. That's something that I had mentioned in a video I put out yesterday. I think that anybody that is not a citizen here, born and raised, you should not have the opportunity nor the ability to play any role in our politics in this country, no matter where you're from. You need to be here, born and raised in this nation. And unfortunately, we have too many people that have infiltrated. We've got a chance to see it. And when they get in there, they don't push the agenda of America. They push the agenda of their own nations. And I got a big problem with that. I got a huge problem with that. And I think most of us should have a problem with that. I don't know if the government is going to step in. I don't know if Congress will step in and do anything about it. But I do think the people, this is something that I think the people need to be shouting from the rooftops. I think we should be yelling this. Shout out to Letitia Biggs with the $10 super sticker. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. We're gonna keep going. I want to share. I got a couple quick clips to share with you guys, and then we'll discuss Karmelo Anthony's new ask. We'll get there. So we got a couple quick hitters, and then we'll keep things rocking from there. All right. And then we'll wrap the show. I mean, I didn't want this thing to be a 3-hour, but I guess it's hard not for it to be a 3-hour when we got so many people and so many great things being discussed here and great points here. So I do appreciate you guys hanging in there with me this morning. So I want to share this with you. This is from something I found on X from the WNBA. And it's not really about the game. It's more about the commentary. Just moving on. So listen to this right here.
That's what makes America great, right, Pantmore? I should rephrase that. Yes. But yeah, I did think opinion are perfectly. Yes, fine. That's a better way to say it. Sorry about that.
I want y'all guys to hear that because this happened at a WNBA game. This was the commentary. She said, that's what makes America great. And then she just froze up like, oh, snaps. I can't say America is great. This is the kind of nation that we're living in right now. When you have commentators that can come out here and say, you can't say that America, you can't say anything positive about America. I think that's crazy, man. Crazy. I think that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Very crazy.
Yeah, I think it was more of a referendum on Trump than it was America because
I think so because that
makes America great.
Yeah,
exactly, Linda. I think that was
associated with him. Yeah,
and it's so sad that people don't want to be proud of their own country. That just it doesn't even make sense to me. Be proud. Stop.
I know. Where else would you go and live as free as we live? It can be whatever you want to be. Where else can you go? I'm certainly not moving into any other country. I'm staying.
And why is everybody trying to get here?
Exactly.
Right. You know what I also find funny? You know what I also find funny is you have people that come from other nations. They come from impoverished places. They come from places with tons and tons of corruption. Not saying that we don't have corruption here in this country, but they still think that their countries are great. You know what I'm saying? Like you got people that will come from Venezuela and they're still waving a Venezuelan flag. They'll come from places where the people have nothing and they will talk about how great their nation is. But in the actual greatest country in the world, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't close. You can't say on TV that America is great. No one's saying that it's perfect. No one's saying that it doesn't have flaws, and no one says that it doesn't have a history. But you can't say when you compare country to country to country, you can I bet if we polled the 8 billion people that we have in the world, I would almost assume that 80 to 90% of those people are going to be right here if they had the opportunity to do so.
Why did you check the link? Did you check the link to see what kind of feedback she got from that statement?
No, I didn't. I will.
Something like that ought to be slapped down quick.
Yeah. No, I agree. 100%.
You know what's pretty
100%.
You know what's pretty telling wise was after the bombing, after the bombs were dropped in Iran, there were Iranians in Tehran, waving American flags. In Israel, they were waving American flags because they knew the war was about to end. In the United States, people are burning the American flag and waving the flags in different countries.
Yep.
And as a veteran, I support your right to do that. But again, you got to have some common sense and look at and read the room. That's just a horrible vision to see people from other countries supporting our country and our country the opposite.
Well, I think some of it is, and you guys can answer this question. You may or may not agree. I think some of our situation here in America is that we're so spoiled. We have it so good in this nation that it makes it really easy for us to just jump on board with any type of foolishness or shenanigans. And a lot of us are easily duped. And the reality of it is that the average American lives within about a 5-mile radius of where they grew up at. They have no conception of what's going on outside of the country.
Right.
Hey, they have no conception of what's going on outside of their neighborhood, more or less outside of the country and the way people live, outside of this nation. As someone that serves a nation that got a chance to travel to, a multitude of countries before the age of 25 as a very, very young man, I came back home with a greater appreciation for our nation. Flaws and all, but I got a chance to see real poverty. I got a chance to see people living in tin shacks with dirt floors. I got a chance to see people with their kids out there hustling. When I say kids, I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about 7-year-old children out there hustling, trying to rummage up some money so their family can get some food. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that I got a chance to witness at the age of 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. And it really gave me an appreciation for this nation because I'm like, man, I ain't never had to do that. Even when looking back when I knew that we were poor, I can look back at it and say, man, we were pretty poor. We wasn't, my mama wasn't sending me outside and saying, bro, you got to go earn some money or we're not going to eat today.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't happening.
Right.
I agree.
Absolutely, man. Wow.
And
I want to share.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Linda. Go ahead, Linda, if you want to add something.
I want everybody to get educated on socialism. That's all I wanted to say, that we need to understand what it means when you have a socialist in front of you, when they want to have government controlled everything and give you a bunch of free stuff, and then study like what countries had that going on, and they
have that going on. Yes,
were destroyed. The economy's tanked. The people were all poor. We need to really know what we're voting on.
That's right.
So
That's
important.
right.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Absolutely.
All right, I got this next clip I want to share with you guys. I'm not for certain if this is a skit or not. I'm not really sure because, nowadays people will do things just as a skit. But even in skits, there tends to be some truth in these skits, right? I don't know if this was done as a, as it was supposed to be funny, as a comedy, or if it was supposed to anger you. And I'm not for certain if it's real or not. So I'm putting that out there right now. I'm not for certain if this is a skit or not. But there's always some truth in a skit, right? We all watch Dave Chappelle and a lot of his skits from back in the day. There was a lot. It was funny. It was funny, and it wasn't true. But there was a lot of truth in the skits, right? So I want you guys to see this right here. I want to pull this up for you guys. I want you guys to see it for yourself. I seen this and I was like, golly, man, I hope this isn't real. I hope it's not real. I hope it's just a skit. But check this out.
Not getting no job. If you go get a job, they're gonna take my Section 8. Then you won't be able to get no Section 8. You're not going to get no job. They're gonna count your income against my Section 8 and my link card. You're not working. No. So I don't care what you gotta say. I don't care how you feel. You're not working. You're not going to get a job. You're not going to school. You're not doing none of that shit.
But Ma, I'm saying how I'm supposed to be successful in life, Ma. So you basically telling me I gotta be broke to be successful. I gotta be broke so I can get Section 8.
You gotta be
so
broke so the government can help you.
So the government can help me. So you telling me I can't work no job, bro? Like that's like all my friends got jobs and live in nice houses. So you telling me I got to go through the same thing you went through
if you
to have a
don't
house?
do any of that, they're going to take my Section 8.
How?
And I'm
Won't
trying
they be
to tell
like?
you
Won't
that
they
you
be?
can go get yours at ease. You can go get
They will.
nice house.
No, they will look at that and be like, he's doing something and give me a bigger house, Ma. That's what you told me.
Where I'm gonna go? 'Cause
I don't
have no job.
I can get off your Section 8 and apply for my own Section 8.
But if you do that, you're gonna have to go the hard way. It's gonna take a long.
So what? That's what I'm
Wait
saying.
a few months, get on Section 8, find you a nice apartment, go get you a link card. You will be fine. You don't have to sit up and work. You don't have to work no job. The government is here to help us.
Wow. Oh my God.
I wanted you guys to see that. I don't know if it's a skit. I'm not really sure.
That's not a skit. That's not a skit.
That is so common. That is so common.
But I want to say this. This ties into what we were talking about with Mondani and a lot of the people that support all the free stuff. This ties into it. So I'm not sure if it's real or not. I'm not sure if it's a skit or not. Lord, please let this be a skit. Please let this be a skit and let it not be real. But if it is real, but go ahead, Crystal, and then Linda, you go after.
I hate to tell you this. I hate to tell you that this is not a skit. I mean, this actual clip may be a skit, but there are actual people that speak like that. I've seen people who legitimately. I don't know if I ever told you this, Wise. There was again, I have friends that are in the education system, and they stopped into a class, and the girl says when she grows up, she wants to be a baby mama. She was probably in like 7th grade. And they said, what do you mean? Oh, you want to be a mother when you want to be able to have kids? She's like, no, I want to be a baby mama. She was like, because then I can get taken care of. And they were asking them, what do you want to be when you grow up as a career? And she says she wants to be a baby mama because if she chooses right, then she'll be taking care of life. And this is 7th grade. So when I say that may or may not have been a skip, but there are people with those real conversations and those real ideologies. It's very real. I feel like there's a woman, and my TikTok community would know, there's a woman that's on TikTok right now that was upset because someone told her with the new Trump laws, the new Trump executive orders, that she'll have to get up and get a job because she can't sit on Section 8 and get food stamps and all those things. And she was like, I will not be doing that. And she told her kids, I'm not getting on this stuff. Y'all don't even need to go to school. Y'all just stay home. Y'all just, we're going to collect our government assistance. And I was sitting here like, is somebody going to go take this woman's children? Because this is crazy. Why are you teaching your children these type of things? So that may have been a skit, but there are real people out here doing that kind of stuff.
I see them every day. Yes, I see them every day. Yes, and I listen to them talking on the buses. You know, you can tell the way they look, the way they dress, the way they tip, the way they walk around with their kids, and it's very clear. You can see it everywhere you go at, especially in the inner cities. You can see it everywhere, and you can hear it in their conversations. No question about that.
Now, Crystal, that what you talked about with the 7th grader, I saw that video, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man, that was heartbreaking. I mean, I watched that and I was like, a baby mama? That's what you aspire to be? A baby mama so you can get on the system? That's your aspirations? That's it?
That's what they've
Oh my-
seen around them and their environment. I remember helping out with an after school program at this, helping out with this. It was a white couple, a married couple, who chose to live in a predominantly Black, poor, single parent neighborhood. And some of the Black pastors got mad saying, what are y'all doing in our neighborhood? But they were actually doing things like helping the children with their homework so they can improve their literacy. And when the wife got pregnant, one of the little girls said, what last name you gonna give the baby? And then she said something else that lets you know that the lifestyle and what she's been seeing growing up is nothing like a husband and wife who love God and each other, and he is the father of all the children.
Who is that? Who is that?
I have no idea.
All right, I deleted everybody but you. Go ahead, Linda.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that little girl, from what she was saying, you could tell she was not accustomed to seeing a husband and wife who both loved God and each other, and he is the father of all her children. I mean, asking questions like, whose last name you're gonna give the baby? Oh, and all things like that. And she was like, well, my husband, we're married. Like, y'all married? I mean, it was just her mindset. And it was like a little bitty Black girl who could not believe that this is a married couple, and yeah, it was just what you said, Crystal, just reminded me of all that, because what they're surrounded around, it's like, wow. And then the mindset of the Black preachers in that community who were doing nothing for the Black kids and the families, but these white people, it doesn't matter what color you are, what you have in you, but they love God and people. And they had the little kids over to their house, feeding them, helping them with their homework. And this was showing those pastors for what they were not doing. And that's what they were really having a problem with.
Yeah. Minister Denzel, I had muted you for a second. I think the feedback was on your end. Yeah, it's on your end. All right, I'm gonna mute him for a second. I don't know. You might want to come back out and then come back in. I'm not really sure, exactly what happened there. But I want to read this super chat. And did you want to add anything, Jeff?
Yeah, I was going to say now, again, this is I'm being careful how I word this. Would you say that Section 8 is generational? That it's something that's taught to keep on, like this is what it's like I was taught. God, country, family are certain cultures teaching people this is what you got to do to get free money, and don't get married because you'll lose extra checks.
They're taught that.
I think there are some people, but I think also a lot of people try to make it a race thing and say, hey, this is just Black folks. It's definitely not. There are where's Minister at? There's he still got some issues with the sound, but you have a lot of people out there. I think B had mentioned, her half sister, not to put her business out there, but she had mentioned, her half sister who happens to be white, who is milking the system. I mean, if you guys have watched movies or shows like Shameless, or even if you've either read or watched Hillbilly Elegy, which is J.D. Vance's story, and he talks about his upbringing and his past and where he came from. And he talks about people, and these are white folks from up in the hillbilly hollers, you know what I'm saying, of Kentucky and Ohio, and maybe some folks out in West Virginia and some of these other places. Could it be cultural? It could be. You know what I'm saying? And when I say cultural, I'm not cultural as in, Black, white, cultural as in people that just want to get over on the system, by any means necessary. And there are people out there that are like that. And I don't think it matters how much or how little melanin you have, because we've seen this. We've seen this. We've seen people that will do anything to, capitalize and game the system. I don't know if you guys have got a chance to watch Shameless. Shameless is a hot daggone mess of a show. And it was on for like 12 or 13 years. And the show, it's wrapped around some white folks in Chicago. And the father, oh my goodness, Frank, he does everything that he can to game the system. You name it, he's doing it. You name it, he is doing it. Conning the system in every shape, way, form, or fashion. And that show was on for it was on for 11 or 12 years. So this isn't just about, I think some people will look at it and say, oh, black folks. And I know back in the day you had the whole welfare queen thing and they were showing black folks, but man, there's a whole lot of folks on the system.
Yep.
And I think it is a cultural thing, but I don't think it has anything to do with, how much melanin one has or not. I don't think it's there. I just think there is a people that want to game the system.
Could you imagine, I think you talk about a sin of shackling your child with, this is the best you can ever be. This is the best it's ever going to be. So don't try for anything else. If that was indeed a skit, I mean, this is your life. It's ever going to be is this just getting by with the government assistance. And here's this kid saying, I want to be better. I want a bigger house.
Right.
No, don't do all that. I hope that's a skit.
Yeah, I hope it's a skit too. We got a couple super chats I want to read, and then we're going to keep going. Shout out to Spaces with the $2 super chat. Says, for the audience, those of you guys in the chat, can you explain socialism to the brother Spaces? Shout out to Mark Herrera with the $2 super chat. Says, love you guys. This is a great conversation. Thank you very much.
It is.
And shout out to Freedman Network with the $5 super chat. Says, they came here because they are failures in their homeland and have zero accountability, but love to tell foundational blacks that we are lazy. He's talking about in reference to foreigners coming over here and taking over, in politics. And shout out to JC with the $20 super chat. Says the churches are for profit now, and the churches are for profit, and it has to stop. Get right, Most High.
Amen.
Thank you for the super chat, brother. Thank you
Man.
very much. I do appreciate that. Hey, Minister Denzel, I want to make sure that your audio is good. For whatever reason, do you have me on? Nope, your audio is still off. It's definitely you, Minister Denzel.
Yeah.
So I would say unplug something and then plug back in or something along those lines. But let's keep things going. And thank you guys for the super chat. And there's a lot of agreements there. Freeman's Network with the $5 super chat says whites are the largest demographic to get government handouts. They're the largest demographic in the country, and they are the largest demographic to receive the government handout. And again, like I said earlier, it's not about how much melanin you have. I think there are a lot of people out there that that will do whatever they can to game the system. We have a lot of people in America that understand that there are some things that you can do to game the system, whether that's Section 8 or getting on disability and all these other kind of things. There's ways to do it. And I've seen this with my own eyes of people teaching others, hey, this is what you got to do. You want to get that disability check at 35? This is what you got to do. And they'll walk you through the checklist of how going about doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some people that are in this like that. They're in it. So it's crazy. I want to move on to the last and final story. Hopefully, Minister Denzel, you are good to go here. Let me see. Nope, I still hear the feedback. I don't know what's going on there, but I want to pull this up here, and then we can talk about this. This is the last and final story or topic that I want to discuss today. So this came out yesterday. Karmelo Anthony's family has updated their Give, Send, Go goal to nearly double its previous request. In reality, I think it's going up 3 times. They're asking for $1,396,725 and has a message for their donors. This is the message for the donors. In their statement regarding Karmelo, they state that the DA indicted their son and referred to him as the reader's nephew, friend, and neighbor. They imply that Karmelo will decide on full trial as opposed to a plea deal. So they're putting it out there that this dude, they plan to take this thing to trial. They don't have any intent on taking any form of plea deal. They said that they state that the funds are for the following. So this $1,396,725. So I think I was right. I would think I was off by one of the 10,000s. It was, I think I said I had a five in there, so I was a little off. But basically, what the money is going to go towards is safe relocation for the family, basic living expense, transportation, trauma-informed counseling for the entire family, enhanced security measures, likely from Dominic Alexander's fraudulent security team, and retaining qualified legal counsel and an investigative team. Dominic Alexander, the career criminal who has been advocating for Karmelo, also released a statement today as well. He stated that there will be a trial. He will also be using his fraudulent organization to ensure that Karmelo receives a fair trial. He states that this case is an example of what it means to be Black in America, where even self-defense is questioned. And as you can see here, for those of you guys that do want to donate, they've raised $536,855, and the goal now is $1.3 million. We'll just round that up and say it's $1.4 million. That is what they're asking for at this point. For those of you guys that would like to donate, it's out there on X for you guys to go and donate if you so see fit. I don't have any intent on doing so, but I want to start this off with you. Where did Linda go? She dipped out for a second. Okay, we'll pull Linda up here in a second. I want to start off with you, Jason, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Go with this wherever you want. I'll follow up with a question later, but just based off of the information that you have today, what are your thoughts on this?
It doesn't make sense what they're asking for. Home, security, trauma. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're also going to get legal counsel. This is going to be a multi-million-dollar case. I don't know where. Now, if they say, look, we got to cover these legal bills, maybe I could rock with you. I could see that. But they're talking about, look, this is like Christmas for them. And it makes no sense. And I do wonder, I hate the fact that Karmelo Anthony's name is so being put out there that people have kind of forgotten the Metcalf boy's name, that his name is Austin Metcalf. He's the one that was actually unalived. And he's the actual victim. Whereas these people have positioned themselves as the victim and, dare I say, have co-opted the narrative to the point that they are, I mean, they can literally put up, you're the one that perpetrated a deletion, and you are putting up a GoFundMe for $1.3 million with your whole chest, not even batting an eye, with all the pride in the world, and saying, look, we're about to buy a house, we're about to get security, we need to get trauma, this, oh yeah, we also got to get legal counsel and investigation. That is crazy work. That is some crazy work.
Yeah.
To see that.
Hey, Linda, before you guys go, I know Linda got to get out of here, so I want to give you an opportunity to expound on this if you'd like.
Karmelo, I think it's just unfortunate that this is a situation where you got Black people again espousing racism, because remember when Dominique Alexander first spoke out, he was calling Jeff Metcalf, Austin, the deceased teenager's father, a racist. He brought race into this. It split up people. You know, I look at things between right and wrong, not black and white. And some of my people who look like me, who are either my friends or my relatives, did not like what I had to say. Some people in the comment section did not like what I had to say. And this is done again to promote division in the country between black and white. That's just one of the ways they promote division, but they're doing it. They don't say anything when it's black on black. If it's a white person involved, they're going to try and make money off of it. They're going to kind of make a grift off of it. If you saw some of the comments under the Give, Send, Go, I was reading the comments. They were horrific. They were so appalling. It just hurt my heart to hear people talk like that. And they said the reason they were doing it is because Black people got to stick together. It's us against them. And see, that's what I call them the evil powers that be. That's what they want. They want division. And that's just how they're using it. That's why you don't hear anything about when it's a Black person unaliving another Black person. You never hear anything about it. There's no money to be made. There's no emotional manipulation. Not like this when it's a white person involved.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for pulling up. I know you got to get out of here. God bless you, sister. Appreciate you pulling up this morning and adding to the show. We did drop the links down in there. I know B is going to redo that, but y'all make sure y'all go check out Linda over there at Chat With Me, Linda B. Thank you very much for pulling up this morning. This isn't the first time she's been on the channel. It definitely won't be the last. Thank you.
You guys have a good one. Blessings.
Bye, Linda.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
Bye, Linda.
Blessings.
I want to say this, and Jeff, I want to hear your thoughts on this. What we do know is that if both kids were white or if both kids were black, this obviously would not be a conversation, right? This would not have taken off the way it's taken off. The racial element here has basically been sensationalized, or sensationalized this particular story, right? Because of the racial element. My question to you, Jeff, is this, and I want to make sure I want to make sure I word this properly. Do you think that this Dominic Alexander guy, and before I say that, do we know who Karmelo Anthony's lawyer is? Has Karmelo Anthony's lawyer actually got out and spoke? We've heard from Dominic Alexander, but have we actually heard from a lawyer? A lawyer. He did? Okay. I want to make sure, because I hadn't heard from the lawyer. We've heard Dominic Alexander, but I got a question, and we'll start with Jeff, and then you guys can kind of go from there. Do you believe by them taking this to trial, do you believe that they are sacrificing Karmelo Anthony for the money? By taking this to trial? To me, it seems like this is cut and dry. This is a cut and dry case, should not be going to trial. But do you think that he's being sacrificed in order to make as much money as they can possibly grift out of this situation?
The absolute first thing I thought of when I heard that they charged him, obviously what they charged him with, and then Dominic come out and said, "We're going to trial." I was like, they're gonna throw this kid to the wolves so they can keep this money, this faucet of money, keep it coming in, keep it coming in, keep it coming in. He should have taken the plea deal. Period. Did he unalive somebody? Absolutely. Was it self-defense? Absolutely not. So it's an open and shut case. But the fact that they're going to sacrifice the spirit and the soul of this young man who made a horrible mistake for more cash to be raised off of his plight, it makes my heart hurt. And again, there are two victims, like you said yesterday, in this whole tragedy. And one of them is Karmelo, one of them is Austin Metcalf. But we need to also, of course, say prayers for Austin Metcalf's family. But I have trouble, and I'm saying this because I'm a failed, flawed Christian. I have trouble praying for Karmelo Anthony's family, but I pray for Karmelo Anthony because he is being used as a pawn in this whole thing. He made a mistake, granted. He'll pay the price for it, granted. But for his family to be stoked in the racial division, to have this maelstrom of cash to keep on coming. Now they've raised it up to $1.4 million. He's already moved into $1 million home it's a gated community. He's already got himself, the family's already got themselves a brand new ride. What are we doing? It's just, I pray for this kid. I really do, because when this is all over and done with, Wise, you're right. When this is all over and done and finished, no one's going to care. No one's going to say, know who Karmelo Anthony is. Yeah, he was that basketball player, right? No, the other guy. The other guy. Oh, yeah, I don't remember that. It's all because once the money's been raised, the race grifters will move on to the next victim or the next paycheck.
I would
agree with that. Go ahead, Crystal.
I actually had a conversation. The woman who reported that story, Sarah, I had a conversation with her yesterday on, you remember Deep's panel, and she was sharing about how Dominic Alexander, his focus, and everyone is wishing that they can get him away from the family. His focus, he's pushing for the more money. He's pushing, and they're not. They don't have wise counsel around them. They do not have wise counsel around them. They have this man that is consistently pushing. A plea deal would have made sense, but he continues to talk into their ear. As we spoke yesterday, Wise. Even the fact that when they had the opportunity to make the press conference a joint situation where it could look two families coming together and their healing, he pushed against that. So I feel terrible for Karmelo because he is going to be sacrificed. Because
Yes.
if somebody else does not come in and speak to his family and bring him true wise counsel, they're going to make this a situation, especially him, about, as he said, this is how they treat a black man, a black American in trying to have self-defense in America. This is how they treat us, and this is he gets convicted. Then it's like, well, we need marches and we need this and we need that. It's going to be a whole thing when this should have been a simple thing of accountability taken, take your plea deal and take your time and be quiet about it. And I really, really, really feel bad about this person. And the fact that Dominique, he likes to go after people when they speak out against him. That's the other sad part of it too.
Yeah, it is really sad. And Minister Denzel, hopefully your audio is good. I want to get you here. I want to hear your take.
I tried it again. Is it? I'm okay?
Yep.
Oh,
We're good to
great,
go.
great. Listen, I just want to say thank you, first of all, for your patience. And this panel has been such a blessing, man. Yeah, I think that it's unfortunate. What you're seeing here is a typical greed of people who put money over, morality. It's sad that the family is focusing on money rather than on what happens. See, you can tell. See, if the family was doing this job, the kid would have never did what he did. There wouldn't have been no murder. I mean, what made this boy think he can go and kill somebody over some stupidity? What made him think he can get away with that? So you can see that there's some kind of problem within the family to begin with. But now that they got this opportunity, you see, remember the video with the mother that had the little baby girl shaking her butt and stuff, to make money off of her. Families will do what they can when they get an opportunity. When you get on the public arena, screen on a public scene, and now you can actually begin to become famous and popular. Greed is a powerful vice, and it's sad that they put money and how much they can get over the life of this young kid. It's sad. I'm sorry. I pray for all of them, including the kid, because remember, I think he was a part of it. You look at the way he talked. He wasn't thinking about. He didn't think he did anything wrong. So you see, these people are thinking money. And I think that he gets what he deserves. He should get what he deserves. And I think his families get what they deserve. I don't think they should be getting rich off of this at all.
No,
because he was the
I
perfect
agree with you. I agree with you there. I don't think this should be, a way to enrich themselves. But what we do know is that this is a way that the race grifters have been using. I mean, you guys remember the Tawana Brawley situation. I know you do, Minister Denzel, how much money was raised and how much, heck was raised, over a flat out lie. Over a flat out lie that we all know today is a lie. And I think people back then knew it was a lie as well. At least the people up top did anyway. But there was millions of dollars.
I thought it was true. I was involved. I was going to those courthouses. I was going to I was into that thing back then. I thought we were being wrong. I wasn't enlightened back then, of course. But yes, I remember the hype, man. And it was everything they did made it seem like they were telling the truth.
Remember
very embarrassed.
You remember the Duke lacrosse players and their houses?
Great point.
Yep. Yeah.
Great
I mean,
point.
these types of things. And the thing is this, we understand, and Jason put this up earlier, in reference to Booker T. Washington. And that's something, he is someone that I've been talking about on this channel for quite some time.
Yes.
I know back in the day, I know we don't have video footage, but I wish we could find maybe some transcripts of the debates between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. I wish we could find those transcripts because this isn't a new conversation, right? This is something that has been, these types of conversations, this type of behavior has persisted in this country really and truly since the Emancipation Proclamation. So Black people got freed, and then there are some Black folks out there, and obviously there were some white folks out there that figured out a way to make money off of the grievances of Black people, and it's still happening to this day. And here it is. You got this. Go. What were you going to say?
Where is the movie of the boys Booker T. Washington debate?
They don't want that.
This is my point.
They can't put that out there.
The information is available, but why aren't we putting that stuff into film and making it available, documentaries about it? Because that's where people need to get educated. You're right. You see, the point you made is brilliant. You have to wonder where the transcripts are.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, because but we know because the thing is, we know that these debates happened because
Yes.
Booker T. Washington, he wrote about it in his book. So we know that these types of debates happen, and we know there wasn't footage, and we also know that they transcribed everything back then.
right.
Where's that paperwork at? Where's the transcriptions of these debates? So people can see it and hear it and understand it. This isn't new. Now the word says there's nothing new under the sun, right? Everything that has happened, it will happen again, and it will happen again. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we need to understand history. That's why we need to understand the true history, because the reality of it is, if you don't know history, it will repeat itself. It's not even an if. It will repeat itself. And that's why, yesterday we talked about this. That's why you got Democrats out here, trying to change names to bases. They're trying to get rid of statues. They're trying to get rid of all these people because they're trying to eliminate any connection to racism, any connection to slavery, any connection to Jim Crow, they're trying to remove that from the political landscape. So in another 30 years, they can say that wasn't us, that was them. That wasn't us, that was them. We didn't do that. It was them. And the thing is that there are so many people that will believe it. You know what I'm saying? No different than the people believe that the party switched. We know the parties didn't switch, but if the lie gets told long enough, and if enough people with enough conviction tell said lie, that lie will become the truth to some people.
Yes,
it will.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And that's the reality of it is. It's one of those things where like a lie, some people can tell a lie so well and so good and for so long that even for them, the lie becomes truth to them.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That lie becomes truth to them. And that's what we're experiencing right now. And it's just so unfortunate because this young man, Karmelo Anthony, who we all have, I think can agree, made a bad choice. He made a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? And the reality of it is, we get to make the choices. We don't get to choose the consequences.
That's right.
You know, we get to make the choice. You can make all the choices. We have freedom. We have free will.
Amen.
You can do whatever you want to do. You just
right.
don't get to choose the consequences.
Right. That's right.
And it's unfortunate because you got this race hustler, Dominic Alexander, who mentioned his organization that first press conference at least 10 times.
Yep.
And it's an offshoot of what's his name? Al Sharpton's group, the Action Network. You know, he called it the New Action Network. It's an offshoot of that. There's no relation, there's no connection there, although I thought it was.
Wow.
And this man who goes out there and says, we're taking this thing to trial. If you're involved, I mean, I'm looking at this as a parent. Once I get a chance and I read the police report.
Yes.
And then, you know, we talk to the lawyer and we get a chance to see all the evidence that they have. As a parent, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, son, I'm sorry. The best bet for you is to plead this out and put yourself at the mercy of the courts. That is the best thing for you, because the reality of it is this. If this thing truly goes to trial, and I hope it doesn't go to trial. I hope they're just using this to maybe, you know, posture so they can get a fairly decent deal for this kid and they actually plea within the next couple of months or so. I'm hoping. Now, we know they're not going to take that plea for 6 months because they got to make sure they get that bread. You know what I'm saying? So that plea not going to come out for probably 5 or 6 months because they want to make sure that they get that $1.4 million. But I'm hoping for Karmelo's sake that they take the deal and maybe he gets, you know, a favorable sentence where he gets 25 to 30 years with an opportunity for parole. That would be his best bet. And he has something to live for while he's in prison. And hopefully he'll find the Lord while he's in prison. And really find the Lord, hopefully. And because if he goes to trial, the judges, the system is not in the business of showing leniency on sentences when you waste the court's money on something that you knew was a winning case. I mean, I'm sorry, a losing case.
Losing case, yeah.
So he's facing 99 years. I would assume that he takes this thing to trial. He loses. He is going to lose. And the next thing you know, this young man is going to be facing 100 years, and then you'll have all the armchair quarterbacks saying, man, he should have took the plea.
What he should have done.
The plea. He would have got 25, 30 years, and not understanding that you got this guy, Dominic Alexander, giving him some of the worst advice that they could possibly give him. And it's just unfortunate because I feel like they're sacrificing this young man for money. And anybody that's donating to this cause, if you really care about Karmelo Anthony, before you donate $1 to this cause, you got to tell that family they got to get this Dominic Alexander character. He's got to get out the picture. He's got to go. And if he goes, I'll donate to a lawyer to help him get a proper put together a proper plea deal. As long as this guy's involved, can't get $1. Now, I'm not saying I'm just saying that I'm gonna give $1 anyway because I'm just not gonna support it. But the people that choose to support it, that has to be the demand there, in my opinion. Go Crystal, and we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Excellent.
I just saw that Sarah just posted that breaking news: Karmelo Anthony submitted an indigent packet to the Collin County Court requesting court-appointed legal representation as an indigent, financially destitute defendant. Even though 24 hours ago, the Anthony family updated their Give Send Go to $1.4 million. Karmelo Anthony's mother, who manages the Give Send Go, stated on April 17, 2 months ago, that they had just gained access to the funds. At the time, they had already $350,000. The fundraiser has now reached $538,000. According to a source, their current known attorney, Mike Howard, is more than likely charging a retainer fee of $10,000 to $30,000 and charges $400 to $500 per hour. So where did the money go? She says. Why do they need $1.4 million? Will they be granted this indigence and appoint an attorney with a Give Send Go of this magnitude? So this just happened. So they're asking for all this money, but they're saying they don't have the funds to cover the attorney that they currently are supposed to have. But they're asking for $1.4 million. So I just thought it was important that we know this. And mind you, in the same breath, the same grifter just signed on to another case, Dominique, and I'll send that over to you so you can look it up. Wise, he just signed on to sue Governor Abbott and the Texas school districts because they want to put the 10 commandments in the public school system. So I just want you to know he's moving all over the place. He's trying to get his next hustle on right now.
Amen. Wow. Excellent.
Holy smokes. So they burnt through how do you burn through $500,000? Actually, that's pretty easy. It's only been about 2 months, but so y'all asking for a public defender after y'all raised $500,000?
Yes.
And he's a minister, right?
You can't make this up. I bet you there's gonna be a movie deal about it. So somebody gonna be throwing money and do a movie deal. You watch. These people ain't stupid. They know how to pull that money.
Yeah.
Shout out to the brother AT with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. We're gonna have to get you on the channel. I got your email, so I'm gonna definitely reach out to you. He says Dominic Alexander hurts the faith with his actions as a minister. Hit the nail on the head, Wise. Great beard. Love seeing Crystal. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you. We got to get you. We got to get you up on the channel, man. We got to get you on this side of things. In these in these YouTube streets, man. We got to get you out here. Freeman's Network with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Says Crystal said he's going to get 100 years yesterday and called him a thug trying to be bad. Now today you feel sorry for him. Which one is it? I'll give you an opportunity to answer to that. I'll give you an opportunity to answer to that if you'd like.
Sure. I said he would probably get 100 years, especially now after this. He probably gonna get 100 years if somebody doesn't step in and fix that situation. Now, I said that he was acting like a thug because he wasn't raised like that according to his mom and them, but he decided he was going to go and take somebody's life. So he thought he was big bad. He thought he was a thug. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a weapon to school. And instead of just walk away from the situation, he decided to go in there and do something that he wasn't supposed to. But at the end of the day, I am a follower of Christ. So I'm always going to pray. I'm going to pray for him. I do feel sorry for him because at the end of the day, I feel bad for a lot of these children that go down the wrong path. And I just pray that they find God and get themselves on the right path, even if that's behind bars and he learns and he starts converting people behind in jail. At least I want him to find God. So yes.
Amen.
Yeah. Now I'm there. I personally think that he is going to get 100 years. If he takes this thing to trial, that 99 years is on the table. That 99 years is on the table if he takes this thing to trial. His best bet is to take the plea deal. I said this yesterday. That is his best bet. if he shows some empathy, shows
Thank
not
you.
empathy, shows some
So
contrition,
some remorse. That's right.
show some remorse, and say, I'm taking responsibility for my actions.
Yes.
I made a poor decision.
Yes.
I decided to go in under these people's tent. I decided not to leave. I decided to escalate things opposed to getting up and walking away. I took it a step further, and I apologize. I apologize to the Metcalf family. I apologize, to the students, because people don't forget the students that were there. They're traumatized as well. A lot of those kids that witnessed this, they're going to suffer for a long time from some PTSD. You can count on it. You can count on it. And he has to take accountability and take the plea and throw himself at the mercy of the courts and hope that he can get a date that he can look forward to going home and being with his family again. Because Lord knows he doesn't want to do 99 years. I mean, that's basically that's a death sentence right there, right? That's a life sentence at 99 years. At 18 years old, you get 100 years. I mean, you're basically never getting out of jail. If he takes the plea, he probably at least gets a date if he takes the plea at 20 to 25, 30 years with an opportunity for parole. What are your thoughts on it, Jeff?
And exactly, he'll get out still with relatively a young man, be in his 40s or 50s, and he can still possibly be a productive member of society and have a good life and stuff like that. But if he goes to trial now with a public defender, even then, he can kiss the baby. It's going to be over for him for a long time. And his family will sit back and say he didn't get a fair trial because he didn't have a high dollar attorney. Well, that's what you chose. Instead of taking that money that you got and hiring somebody who's I don't know. It's just like Crystal said, there are so many victims involved in this, and we should pray for all of them, not just the immediate, the victims, but also everyone involved in this, because they've got to be there. Your heart can't turn to stone just because you don't like the outcome of something. You've got to keep your heart fertile and fertilized with the Holy Spirit. You've got to keep this going. Otherwise, you're just a hypocrite. Only praying for the people you like. God. It's Jesus said, "Pray for your enemies." It's easy to pray for the ones you love, but you have to pray for your enemies as well.
Yes,
you're absolutely right, Jeff. You're right, Jeff. And Minister Denzel, I'll give you the last word on this, and we're gonna get out of here.
Okay, well, I think that what you just suggested that he do should have been done at the beginning. And you're absolutely right. Had he done that at the beginning, he would have been a lot more merciful. The courts would have been a lot more merciful on him because he's a young kid. But for them to go through the shenanigans they went through, the family, him and his lawyer and all that, they built up a wall against any kind of real sympathy now that may make it more difficult. Even if if he does change his mind inside, he's going to start trying to act like he didn't mean to do what he did. So that's why we need to understand, when you do wrong, you get it right then. Don't wait and get the wrong people around you to try to milk people for it. Because the more you do that builds up against your credibility, and it's harder to believe someone is sincerely sorry when you've done all this stuff. And then you hit a brick wall and you have to come humble yourself. That's a little late.
Yeah. And he's a young man. He's a young man going to prison with some real predators out there. He made a poor choice. And I know Crystal has said that he was acting like a thug. And I can be honest with you and say that I was one of those kids at 16, 17-year-olds acting like something that I can look back at today and say, that wasn't really you. That wasn't you. But I was acting like something based off of the music I was listening to, based off some of the movies I was watching. I was acting, and I easily could found myself in a very similar situation, as Karmelo, but the grace of God. Fortunately, I had some praying grandparents, some praying parents that put a hedge around me that kept me from me when I wasn't even trying to keep myself. And I can see myself because I was one of those kids that was, out there, acting like something that, I can look back at today and say, bro, that really wasn't you. You wasn't truly that. You were putting on a front. You were acting. And I think a lot of our young people, for young men, we can get caught up in that, right? We can get caught up in trying to be tough. We can get caught up in, trying to come across a certain way. And sometimes some of us were blessed enough and fortunate enough for something to not go as crazy and go as wrong as what happened between Karmelo, and others find themselves in a position very similar to Karmelo's. And it's just so unfortunate, man. So prayer all the way around. Yes, definitely prayer, needs to be had needs to be had for the Metcalf family. But I really want to see people pray and really wrap their arms around young Karmelo Anthony, not his family. And honestly, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. His family too, that they can get some form of because right now I think their eyes, there's some skills there that they can't see a charlatan that's using them. You know what I'm saying? And this individual does not has their family nor their child's best interest at heart. And I pray for their family that they will have those skills removed and they realize that this dude is not here for us. He's here using us. He's here to grift and make money off of us. He's here to build his platform off of our plight. And I hope that they wake up and they see it. The fact that they raise $500,000 and they're talking about a public defender it's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. The fact that they raised $500,000 and they're talking about the need of a public defender, and you're talking about going to trial with a PD? Are you crazy?
Because he's indigent.
Are you crazy?
Exactly.
Like what are we talking about here? And again, I go back to it. I'm gonna close with this. We have free will to do what we want to with our lives. God gives us that ability. He gives us that free will to make whatever decision that we want to do. We have the ability to do so. He may not like it, but he's not going to stop it. But you don't get to choose the consequences of your actions. You don't get to choose those. Those are up to other people.
Amen.
You don't get to choose those consequences.
100%.
Excellent.
And with that being said, we're going to get out of here, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up. I definitely appreciate you guys adding to this. Jeff, thank you very much. I know you're working, but I know I do appreciate you pulling up, man. And thank you to Chris. I know he had to roll out. And thank you to Jason from Dear Woke Christian. I know he had to roll out, as well as Linda B. I did not expect for this thing to go 3 hours, but I guess it's hard to not go 3 hours when you're having these types of discussions. So I do appreciate you guys.
A pleasure meeting Crystal and pleasure meeting. I never had a chance to talk to either one of you. God bless you.
God bless you, sir.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith.
Amen.
Absolutely, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. My folks in the chat, shout out to all my ARP family members. Thank you, everybody who supported the channel financially this morning through Super Chat, Super Stickers, and joining the ARP family. Thank you guys very much, man. I really, really appreciate it. To my guests, thank you guys for always pulling up, when I do reach out. Minister Denzel, you've definitely been a blessing to me, brother. So I do appreciate you pulling up as always. And Jeff, there's nothing but love here. And Crystal, Crystal's part of the family now. So it's all love now.
Amen.
So I got Crystal's back. She knows that at this point. I hope she does anyway. I want to see her win, out here. And so I do appreciate you guys, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, man. It was a long show, but
yes, we did.
It went by really, really fast. It did go by fast.
Great conversation.
So, so it was a good conversation through and through. One more super chat or super sticker, more or less, from Freedom's Network with the $2 super sticker rolling his eyes. But hey, you'll be all right, brother. You'll be all right. You'll be all right, man. I do appreciate you guys, man. Thank you very much for pulling up, man. There will not be a live show tomorrow. I did mention that, man. Tomorrow's wifey's birthday. So we're going to do some things.
Happy birthday, wifey.
I need to do
Happy
early.
birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sure she'll watch the show. I'll let her know. She'll watch this, probably in chunks, but she'll watch it while she's doing some editing or something along those lines. But yeah, this was good, man. This was a good panel, good show today. And I definitely appreciate you guys, man. Hey, man, as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. It is crazy out here in these streets, man. And we'll catch up with you all next time, man. You guys take care, man. Enjoy the weekend, man. God bless.
God bless you.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.